Good morning, Blootropolis! It's a beautiful and sunny day out in the great city of Blootropolis. My name is Blootrix. You can call me Blootrix. Normally I would say, you could call me Blue, but I think today we're gonna go for the full name, but put a little bit of respect on it, dude. Put a little bit of respect. What are we doing today? Would you believe me if I told you that I have no plans because I possibly, maybe, woke up half an hour ago because I woke up at 1 a.m. and then I couldn't sleep for 11 hours? No, because I always plan ahead. Because a super always has a plan. Today, apparently, according to the list I made at some point I don't remember making, today, we're gonna watch the video from Legal Eagle on the Supreme Court case could destroy the internet. Turn down the music, it's a little touch. We're gonna watch the video, Satoshi Kon, editing space and time. Now, did I watch a Satoshi Kon anime like I said I would in the last stream over the weekend, so that when I was watching the Satoshi Kon editing video, I could have some kind of understanding and appreciation for it? No, I didn't. Why? Why indeed? And then we're going to be watching Marcus Brownlee when AI gets it wrong. Now, if you've not been coming around stream, I have been on a little bit of a kick with AI. I'm just clicking a button here. There we go. I am absolutely in love with it. I can't get enough of it. There's something about AI that captivates me. I think it's the ability for a machine to finally move as fast as me. Well, I say as fast as me. A 10% margin of me. That's so important to me because I get so impatient and so bored. Creolio! I'm doing very well. How are you? How are things? What's happening? How was your weekend? Every now and then I think, why don't you stream on a Monday? Because then when you ask people how their weekend was, there's not a day between. But then I also think, no, I like Tuesdays and Fridays. They work well for me. I got a little bit of energy. Creolio, thank you very much for 20 months of being a super. Thank you. You know what? I'm not going to bring up the fact that I don't have alerts anymore. We're going to just pretend it's the norm, and then at some point soon, they will just appear. I say soon. I'm thinking, July? I don't know, some point around then. I'm glad to see your face. Thank you very much. I miss alerts. Listen, I do have my old alerts package. I do have that all built and ready to go. Why don't I turn that on? Why don't I turn that on? Why don't I turn that on? I don't have a reason. Huh. I didn't realize that I didn't have a reason to not turn on the old alerts package that I had since it worked. And then we can always phase it out and bring in new stuff if and when we have it. Huh. How about that? Well, I guess I have something to do. Well, I say something to do as if I have nothing else to do. I guess I've got another thing on my list of things to do between now and Friday's stream. I did do a couple of things over the weekend. Hey Lord, how's it going, dude? How are things? How are you? I did get a couple of things done over the weekend. Discord, Twitch alerts are now back, so it hits everyone. I'm leaving it like that for the time being. If you're over on the Discord channel and you want to use that for alerts, you'll get an alert from now on when I'm streaming. Oh, I forgot about this. I added a schedule and a new video banner. I don't know how to access both of those things. I don't know how to access either of them. I genuinely have absolutely no idea, but they are there, okay? No idea. Woo, but they... You're too handsome and lovely. I don't want to hear you talk right now, okay? I'll get distracted. I don't know how to access them. but believe me when I say that they're there. That's all you need to know. There should be, I don't know how to use half of Twitch, and that's bad because that tells you that the interface on Twitch is not intuitive. I don't know where I click in order to see the schedule. Why is there not just a schedule button? Bang, right there. I don't know, but the schedule is there. This is good. Oh, and then I made this. Where did I put it? Oh no. Oh no. Oh no, where did it go? It would have been in here, in here, in here. I found it. Let me show you. I made this for the Twitch background, so we have something now because the old banner that was on the page was 2,573 years old. So we have this. So as soon as I go offline, this is the image that's on screen. I think it's pretty cool. It's a good placeholder. The thing that I've decided to do, right? I've decided to stop trying to make everything perfect before it's here for all to see. Now, if you had seen how much work I did on ideas to implement in this stream over the course of the last year and a half that didn't get implemented, I don't know if everybody saw it, but every now and then I would say, oh, I've got this thing that I'm working on. I don't want to come back to streaming until I've got everything perfect. Then I came back and there was nothing to show. The reason for that is that I am a perfectionist and I struggle to not get something looking exactly the way it does in my head. It's a nightmare. It drives me nuts. I hate it. But such is life for me. So I have, and I'm not joking, probably near enough 100 different files that I spent a year and a half on that you'll never see, and I'll never see again. It drives me nuts. So starting with this is my commitment to just, if I need something, make a version of it. Just make a version of it. Just do it. Just make it. Just make it as rough as possible. And then into the universe it goes. It's a brilliant, fantastic, and wonderful idea. And then I can replace it later. But better to have something than nothing. It's one of my favorite sayings. I'm going back to the studio. Okay. Yeah, so we've only got like three videos to watch today, I think. Which doesn't... Tetris? There's a Tetris movie? We've got 4 videos to watch today, apparently. Because I'll watch a Tetris trailer. I don't know what that is, but it sounds interesting. We're up to 4! Now, I'm pretty sure... How do I get to my watch list? These, I tell you what, see these websites, they drive me nuts. There's so many bibbidi-babbidas and... Jackie Chan, how to do action comedy. I knew there was another. Now, how did you autoplay? Because that shouldn't be possible. I have autoplay turned off. It should load up like that. How did it do that? How did you do that? How did you play? I don't know how that happened. I kind of want to watch the Supreme Court case one. Or, I might get my... Dude, I'm kind of feeling watching the... See, look, all of these loaded with just... Hold on, you can't really see it. There we go. All these loaded, paused. I kind of... What's this? This video showcases... Hold on, what is this? I've never seen this before. This video showcases a product, service, or location that they've received for free or subsidized access to. Its entire video is labeled as this category and is too tightly integrated to be able to separate. I don't even know what that means. Cool, but I don't understand. I kind of want to start with the AI one, because that's going to get my brain a whirling, right? Then maybe we go for the Tetris trailer, a little small thing. and boom, it's Supreme Court case time. Then we'll do Satoshi Kon, and then maybe we'll do Jackie Chan. That's the plan for today. I'm in the mood to do something stupid here. I'm in the mood to play one run of Marauders. Why is my keyboard not typing? Because I don't have it plugged in. Do I do a see? This could turn a good day into a very bad day. This is why I struggle with Marauders. If you don't know what Marauders is, let me explain. Marauders is a Tarkov-like game, meaning you get your loot, you go in, you die, you'll lose everything. And sometimes you die in these games and it doesn't feel fair, and you've brought in hours worth of looting or hours worth of loot, and you're just furious. And you can't handle it, and you can't process it, and you're standing there just mad. And I don't know whether or not I want to risk that fury. I might do, what I might do is we could do a run till death. Normally I wouldn't, but I'm so in the mood. And we gotta roll with the mood, dude. There's a question. Have you seen the Weird Al Yankovic movie? I haven't. Is that out? When did that come out? The Weird Al Yankovic movie? That's not out, is it? Weird Al movie. That released in September? I thought that wasn't out yet. Where did that release? What? How? Where? What? See, I don't go to the cinema. So when something releases, I more or less don't know. I also don't have Netflix, don't have Amazon Prime. I have Disney, but only because it's free. Like, the package I've got is free. Because, like, I'll use, like, Club Card points or something like that in order to get Disney for free for 3 months. And if it runs out, I don't care, because I don't like Disney. Disney Plus. This is... Where did this release? How to watch? The first original movie released in the UK via the Roku channel. What is the... Dude, there are so many streaming services out there that a movie with Daniel Radcliffe about Weird Al Yankovic, you can go onto a service that you've never even heard of. Roku's a free streaming service available to anyone with access to one of the devices which supports it. That's so stupid, man. There needs to be one goddamn streaming service, and that's it. It's coming close. We're getting a cable, dude. It's about to be cable TV. You're about to need 17 different subscriptions, and then you'll find one company that will bundle them all together for a really high monthly price. I hate it. I hate it. I wanted to see it, forgot about it, and just reminded myself about it. Gotcha. Well, if you watch it, let me know if you enjoy it. I think, dude, last night I tried to watch, or yesterday afternoon, I tried to watch some shows with my lady, and I struggle to sit down and watch shows and movies. Main reason, very cynical. So I'll watch something and I'll see every single flaw in it, and it will frustrate me and take me out of the movie. It'll take me out of the movie, it'll take me out of the show. There'll be a guy and another guy, and he'll go, I'm gonna kill you if you cross that line. The other guy will go, I'm gonna kill you if you tell me that you're gonna kill me. And then for some reason they just start fighting, and I just sit there going, what was the talk about? If neither of you did the thing that annoyed the other, why? Like, it's that on a massive scale. Drives me nuts. So for that reason, I struggle to watch shows and movies. And then I also struggle to sit still for any period of time unless I'm playing a game. Even then, I can't really play games for more than 2 to 4 hours in a row before I need to do something else. I get fidgety, right? I can't sit still, dude. So we tried to watch some shows last night, and there's this thing, I don't know if TV shows are still doing it, but I hate it so much. If you've seen the show Space Force on Netflix with Steve Carell, I quite liked the first season, right? And I mean, it was like 3 years ago the first season came out. Second season came out last year in February. And finally chucked it on yesterday. And it did the thing that's a cardinal sin for me. It's a sin beyond, what's the word I'm looking for? Forgiveness. It's a sin beyond forgiveness. It started the second season like 1 month to 6 months later, and then you could tell that the whole season was going to be about catching you up to what they never showed you in the 6 months between the last season and this one. I hate that shit. If I just finished season 1 and we are here, I don't want to start season 2 over here, and the whole season is about telling me what happened between here and here. The only reason writers do shows and movies in that, well, mostly shows in that way is because they lack the ability to tell a story that's even somewhat interesting. They completely lack the ability to do it. But it's far more interesting if you have people tell you little bits of what happened over the course of an entire season. I say it's far more interesting. It's not. It's frustrating. And I watched an episode of Space Force. I watched 5 minutes of the next one. Click, off, done, deleted it. Don't never want to see it again. Gone. 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 Steve Carell, gone. And I thought, okay, let's try another. Killing Eve. Really good show. Seen season 1, 2, and 3. All great. Apparently incredibly forgettable, because I had to watch a 12, 15 minute catch-up video that recapped season 1, 2, and 3. And I remembered, and I'm not exaggerating, less than 10% of what happened across the entire show. I didn't think it was forgettable, but apparently it is. I don't think it's that it's not good, and that's why it's forgettable. I think it's just that, there's so much that goes on that it's kind of overwhelming. Hey, Double D, how's it going, man? How are things? How are you? Thank you very much for 10 months of being a super. Thank you. How's it going, dude? Where was I? Killing Eve. Yeah. Watched the recap, 15 minutes long, of season 1, 2, and 3. Was up to date. Started season 4. Wouldn't you know it? Season 4 starts 6 months after season 3, and the whole season looks like it's gonna be about catching you up on what happened between the end of season 3 and the beginning of season 4, despite the fact they could have just continued the story from the end of season 3. I hate it. It's the laziest, most garbage method of telling stories through shows ever. So what am I going to do to remedy this issue? I might start Suits tonight. I was on TikTok. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. I know. I know. I know. I know. I don't want to be on TikTok. Trust me. I don't want to be there. But I'm going to tell you something that I've heard and didn't believe, but it's true. TikTok is the best video platform that there is, full stop. There's nothing better. Their algorithm is 10 out of 10. 9.5 out of 10. Dude, I started off TikTok last week. I was, oh my God. Where did I start on TikTok? I think I started with like loads of police stuff. So you'd see police lose it, like chasing people down the street, people shouting at police, and every video was a police video, and it was great. It was so interesting seeing everything that was going on. I was watching like riots and stuff. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. I should run over there and just throw everyone through windows, but I'll just watch. Missed you in chat, haven't catched this back. Well, it's good to see you again, Double D. It's good to see you, man. It's nice to hear that you miss me. I mean, I feel like everybody misses me all the time when I'm not around, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, so I started on police TikTok, which was great. And then I slowly migrated, what was it next? Over to, I can't remember where I went next. All I know is right now I'm on DIY TikTok and I'm addicted. I spent hours last night watching video after video of DIY projects, just learning. The thing is with TikTok, there's so much information condensed into such a short time period that it's phenomenal for learning stuff, man. So I'm sitting there like, oh, so that's how you peel out a crack in a wall and fill it and then sand it and paint it and make it look like nothing was ever there. I didn't know that I wanted to know that, but now I know that I wanted to know that, and now I know how to do it, dude. I was also looking, it was like, okay, so if you wanted to demolition a wall, this is how you do it. And I was standing there going, I didn't know that I wanted to know how to properly demolition a wall. Normally I just punch them or run through them. But now I know. And it's great. I know how to build a wall now. Dude, I'm basically a verified builder and plumber. I was watching plumbing and electrics. I know how to do all your electrics. I know how to do all your plumbing. I can build your walls and tear them down. TikTok is an incredible thing. I love it so much. I will say though, it's incredibly addictive. I would be lying if I said that I wasn't in the back of my mind somewhere thinking about TikTok. It's probably what I'm gonna do the second that I'm off stream. I'm not lying. I'm not lying. I'm probably gonna go, oh, that was so much fun. I'm gonna go save the day, and as I'm running down the street, I'm gonna be on TikTok. And will there be a situation like in The Boys season 1 where I run, like A-Train ran through someone, I run through someone because I'm on my phone? I don't know. I hope that doesn't happen, but I can't get off TikTok. I love it. It's great. How to enrich uranium. Dude, I'm not joking. There's probably a TikTok out there. Dude, I was watching a stream the other day, and the dude on it was Pay Money Wubby. He was talking about this new thing that's on TikTok, where apparently this app is gonna get banned or regulated or something, because there's a new trend on TikTok where chicks will start the video with like one out, but like hidden in the darkness so you can see, and then they'll immediately go down and they'll just come out and do a normal TikTok. Why are these people trying to get TikTok banned everywhere? They're going to take away my building and electrics and plumbing videos. I don't want them to go. I love them. I love them so much. TikTok's great, as much as a millennial in me wants to deny it. It is. It really is. I want to deny it too, man. Wait. What was I going to say? I forgot. I want to, dude, I want to hate it. In fact, dude, anytime I did that thing, I did the Justin Bieber thing. You know how back in the day, so you'd hear Justin Bieber and you, as a guy, automatically had to go, I hate Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber sucks. Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber. You know, you just dismissed him. And then you actually listened to his music and you were going, Justin Bieber. You know, it's the same thing with TikTok that I did, where anyone would mention TikTok, my lady would go, oh, TikTok, I'm on TikTok, I'm addicted to it, and I'd go, TikTok. You know, and then you give them like the, you know, you give them the look, the disrespectful, like, I can't believe you type, like, you know, and then now I'm addicted to it, and I realized that I was just okay, this is bringing up something really serious and really important, and I really need to think about this. I have been doing that with Love Island, where my lady will go, I'm gonna go watch Love Island, and I'll go, Love Island, never. Am I doing the same thing I did to Justin Bieber and to TikTok to Love Island because I know I'm gonna love it? I just refuse. I can't do reality TV. I can do specific reality TV, but it's got to be like, there has to be a streamer that I like hosting it. I can't just watch it raw, dude. I can't watch like Big Brother or Love Island or whatever it is. I can't do it. I can't. It feels... Oh my God. I look at reality TV the same way parents in the 90s looked at video gaming. Because it feels like a waste of life. Oh. Oh no, I am the boomer. Oh no. Oh, I didn't realize. I am the boomer. Why am I not allowing myself to just enjoy things? I don't know. Same thing now, I like Friends. Lord, hear me out. If you've not seen all of Friends, stop right now. In fact, if you've seen Friends, doesn't matter. I tell everybody this. Did you know that there is an unrated version of all 10 seasons of Friends? I know what you're thinking, you probably didn't know that. It's only in DVD quality, and you can find it to download in various places. An unrated version of Friends. So every episode is anywhere between 30 seconds to 3 or 4 minutes longer. The vast majority are only a minute longer. And they'll add small scenes here and there. Now, I'm not going to tell you that the bits that were removed and then added back in the unrated version are worth watching. Some of it is just like, oh my God, I've never seen that before. In fact, when me and my lady watch Friends unrated, we'll be sitting there and then we'll see a scene that we've never seen before, and I'll turn to her and I'll go, oh my God, we've never seen that before. We've never seen it. And it's really cool to see things that you've never seen before in that show, especially after watching it for 20 years? But let me give you an example. So remember the wedding between Chandler and Monica, where Chandler has his slippy shoes and he's slipping all over the place, right? In that episode, there's a moment where Chandler and Ross and Monica's mum says, call me mom, right? Now, the scene that was cut, but is in the unrated version, is at the very end of that episode. It's like normally the after commercials bit, there's another little bit and then the episode ends. Well, that bit in the unrated version is Monica's mum comes up and asks Chandler to come and dance with her. And Chandler's feeling more confident in his slippy shoes. So he starts dancing with her on the dance floor, slips, falls straight down, reaches out to grab onto something, grabs onto Ross and Monica's mum's dress, pulls it to the ground, leaves her standing in the middle of the dance floor in her underwear, and then he looks up at her and goes, sorry, Mom. There's so many phenomenal and hilarious scenes like that throughout the entirety of the unrated show. We're only on season 2 right now, but I'd seen the unrated version years and years ago. But only a few episodes of it. But I'm telling you, dude, the unrated version of Friends is a 10 out of 10. It's even just cool to see little moments from the show that kind of, I don't know, like in the first season, I feel like they made Phoebe far more like Chandler, because in the unrated version, she has a lot of little snarky, stabby jokes, like the same way Chandler does. But in the rated version, the TV rated version, they pulled a lot of those jokes for her out. So it's kind of cool to see how characters changed a lot more than you realize over the course of the production just through editing. It's really cool. I can't recommend it enough. The unrated version of Friends is great. Right, I'm gonna do something really stupid now, okay? We're going to do This is so dumb. I shouldn't do this. I'm setting myself up for anger. We're gonna do a run of Marauders, okay? We're gonna do a run of Marauders, and when I die, the game is off. That's it. Okay. When I die, Alt F4. That's what it's gonna be. Okay, Marauders, done. That's what we're gonna do. It's gonna be one run and that's it. Well, could be 2 or 3 runs. And I'm gonna be aggressive. I'm gonna be aggressive. Right, let's go to the green screen room. Okay, right. Oh, I've not played this in a minute, to say the least. I am not feeling confident in my ability to, you know, I can't hear anything, I can't see anything, I know why. I have to have everything in borderless window mode. Where's the settings? There it is, options, video, full screen, borderless. We'll be able to hear it, you'll be able to see it. In 3, 2, 1, there we go. Right, we're gonna pause the background music, we're gonna do it. Now, if you don't know what Marauders is, let me tell you. Or you know what? I should do a proper intro, because this could be a YouTube video, I'm sure. Back to the studio. It's time for a run in Marauders. If I die, well, that's it. It's over. I might go in and die in 3 minutes and that's it. I might end up lasting an hour. I've got absolutely no idea. I'm gonna try and be somewhat aggressive, but at the same time, I don't want to die. If you've never heard of what Marauders is, let me catch you up on it real quick. If you've seen Tarkov, it's that, okay? If you've not seen Tarkov, then let me again explain. You pick out your loot, you go in, you die, everything is gone, you start again with a fresh character with no loot. That's pretty much what it is. Get in, do some objectives, grab some loot, get out before you get killed. Simple. Simple. Marauders is like it's set in the year, I can't remember what it is, but it's like a post-World War II, but in space type of thing. We don't really care, do we? We just want to see shooty bang bang, so let's get to it. Okay, now last time I was in this, I got mad and turned the game off, which is why I have no loot attached to me. But luckily, I've got everything built and ready to go, and we can get that all sorted. Let's craft another one of them. Let's chuck on a rig. I should have, let me see, I've got loads of guns, dude. I got M16s and EM2s, and what's in here? I have a lot of Terminators, apparently. What's in here? Ooh, food. Okay. Now, do I have any spare backpacks? Or can I just buy a little backpack? I normally like to buy a little backpack. Bandages. I kinda... Where's my meds? Oh, yeah, I'm out of... Okay. Okay, let's just buy all the bandages. Let's fill up the whole inventory. There we go. And then I've got... Oh, I've got 42 seconds. I really wish there was a way that I could quickly transfer all of this into here. I've got 2 folded barrel backpacks in there, but I kind of don't want to bring it. I'd rather kill someone, loot their backpack. Right, that'll do for now. Right, so I've got, let's see, I've got my armor on. Where are my helmets? I've got a level 12 helmet. That's sorted. I've got 4 radio backpacks. I could bring one of them. Wait, any new bags? 8 seconds till that refreshes. What am I going to bring? I think I might bring an EM2. That's a decent rifle. If I had a trench gun, I'd bring that. Oh, I'm going to bring an STG. Because in my ammo box, I have got so much 7.62. So let's bring 1 and 2 full stacks. Cool. Then that'll be enough. That's what, 612, 150 bullets? I mean, if that's not enough, then what are we doing? Let's grab a full first aid, 2 small. Let's grab 3 bandages and 4 lockpicks. Why not? It's only 1 run. If we die, we die, and that's it. We deal with it. Oh, we've got aspirin. Oh, yes, 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 yes. I could use some aspirin. Okay. I don't have any aspirin on me. Do I get rid of one small first aid? Bring another bandage and an aspirin? See, that sounds smart, but is it? Yeah. I'm gonna get rid of a small first aid. It'd be great if I'd left myself space to make this easy. Didn't know. Grab another bandage. Grab an aspirin. Cool. So that's the loadout. We've got a level 12 helmet, level 9 plate rig, 150 bullets for the STG-44, large first aid, 4 bandages, 1 small first aid, then we've got the lockpicks and the aspirin. That should be fine. I do need one more transmitter, so I'm going to kind of try and keep on top of that. And then I'm going to keep this appearance because I kind of like it. I do really want this helmet. This one, the Baron one. Anyway, let's get going. Dude, I read for 70 years and my brain turned off. Okay, this is it. Now I have to go up to turn up the brightness on my monitor because normally I play in the dark. So I need this turned up. There we go. I can see everything. I'm good. I'm ready to go. I'm feeling confident. Oh boy. Normally it only takes like 30 seconds to get into a match. I do know a little while back it was taking closer to a minute and a half. It always leaves you standing here like, oh god, do I really want to play this right now? Do I really want to risk losing my mind here? This is that moment, you know, when you're playing a video game and the game will go to a loading screen, it'll fade to black, and then you catch a reflection of yourself in your monitor or in whatever it is you're playing it on, and you go, oh. This is that moment for me when you're waiting for the match to start. It's that oh moment. How much did I pay for the aspirin? 900 for an aspirin. I didn't know it was that much. Has that price increased or am I losing it? Oh, I've got no food. I've also got no backpack, but that's fine. I'll find those pretty quickly. My meds container is full. I do need, where is it? There we go, 4 more lockpicks to replace the ones I used. My god, I've got so much 5.56 as well. I don't even have it all in here. There we go. There we go. Put that 300 there. Extra 300 there. Look at that. It's looking nice and pretty. There's something about organizing your inventory that's so goddamn satisfying. I don't know what it is. All I know is that it feels stupid, but it also feels great, dude. That's all I know. Chuck that there, and there. Okay, we've got a little bit of space. I really want to fill up my inventory with compact containers because I didn't realize how much bigger they are than large containers. Like the compact ones are no wait. Compacts are the same size as large containers, but take up 9 slots instead of 15 or something like that. But you can only get them from rewards for missions, I think. Okay. I'm ready. This is my world. I am the Marauder. I have to maintain this mentality. Right. In we go. Oh wow, the reticle for the ship actually worked. Spaceport Vault, Merchant Ship, Custom, Navy. I kind of want to go to Navy then. Look at that aim. Okay, we're going straight to Navy, getting everything I need, and out. I think what I'm going to do is make the rule that if I hear someone else, I have to go for them. Because otherwise, I could be here for like 5 hours. You know, like in and in and in and in if I'm just gonna, you know, creepy crawl or what around the place. I don't see anyone. Or hear anyone. Which is weird. Maybe they're on the other side and there's no cannon for them to fire at? So I wouldn't hear them fire if there's no turrets? I don't know. Okay, I also need to find some food pretty quickly and a little bag. Hopefully I spawn beside the... what's it called? Is there a locker room or something here? I think there is. Now, what's the time left? Yeah, no one else has gotten in before me, so no one's going to be standing here, so I can come straight out without worrying. Unless there's NPCs. That's my only worry. Okay. God, I've not played this in so goddamn long. Oh, backpack. Backpack. Nope, joking. God damn it. I think the locker room is up here in the... Yes! Well, that's not... Oh, Liberator, I'll take it. It's not backpack, but I'm happy with that. I think there's another place in here where I can find a bag. Leather jerkin again. God damn it. Okay. What is... I hear someone. Excuse me? How did he survive the 9 bullets that I put into him? Okay, dude, this is no bueno. God damn it, no backpack. A shield. I'm tempted to take that because I'm not going to need... Oh, light bag. Give me that. Yeah, I'm going to take that. Put the Liberator in there, grab that, drop that. Cool. I'm going to use the other bandage, why not? Keep myself full. Okay. Oh, I forgot. There's a kitchen right here. I could have just grabbed some food in here. Grab the gunpowder. I'm surprised I'm not hearing anything so far. I spoke too soon. Excuse me? Whoa! Oh, there's someone else here. I'm sure someone else just fired. Oh boy. Oh, NPC. Okay, we're fine. Whoa. Oh my god, dude. Just use the full. Just use the full. I don't care. Just stay alive right now. There is someone else here. Okay. I need that NPC to not come to me. Dude, what's happened to the health of the enemies in this? This is double what it was last time I played. Didn't hear him. Didn't see him. And that's it. This is why I don't play Marauders anymore. I couldn't see him. Had no idea. He's using an L1A1. No wonder he got me so quickly. Dude. Did they buff the health of enemies in this? Because, oh my god. How many bullets? Dude, I was using 7.62 rounds and putting 12 shots in the body of NPCs. And they were living. Every update they push for this game. Get this game off my screen. Every update they push for this game, I swear to God, ruins the balancing to a degree that I cannot stand. I loved this game when it first released. How many hours have I put into it? I wish, I've put in 99.9 hours. I really wish there was a way, like a button that we could press that would show us how much time I put in and when, so we can see how much time I played on release and then how much, like how little how little the amount of time was I spent in this game after each update. Last update they released, I spent 5 hours and couldn't play anymore because it just changed so much that I couldn't stand it. Oh, it's so frustrating. Why did I do this to myself? I knew it would end like this. I knew it. Right, let's change it back. And let's do. Okay. Change it back to that. What do I type? What was the stream titled before? I can't even remember. Dude, one thing that I struggle with, like a lot, is naming the stream. I don't know why I care. Title. It feels like anything that I write feels low effort. There, reacting to AI and stuff. That'll do. Stuff it. I'm happy with that. Right. We got Marcus Brownlee, the biggest problem with AI. We got the Tetris trailer. We got the Supreme Court could destroy the internet next week. Satoshi caught on editing space and time. And then we've got Jackie Chan, how to do action comedy. We're going to start off with Marcus Brownlee, because one, I love his stuff. Love his voice, I love his face, love his brain, and I'm interested to hear what he thinks the biggest problem with AI is. In my opinion, you know, it's gonna replace everybody's jobs, but we'll see. Okay. Marcus Brownlee, the biggest problem with AI. I don't know what he's gonna say. I don't know, dude. I'm kind of fatiguing myself with AI videos, if I'm being honest. I really want to keep talking about it, but my opinion isn't changing because I'm not getting fed any new information through any of the videos that we're watching. And it's kind of frustrating. Everyone is releasing videos on why they're scared of AI, and no one is releasing videos on how it's going to change the world. I really hope that's what this is. Okay. Marcus Brownlee, the biggest problem with AI. I'm interested to see his take on what the biggest problem is. Like I said, I think the biggest problem's probably gonna be that it's gonna make a lot of people redundant, but we'll see what his opinion is. Let's go over to the green screen studio. Okay, let's do it.
Whoever made the tweet asking it how many LTT backpacks would fit in the trunk.
I saw this Linus Tech Tips stream. It's so crazy. I wonder if he fully recaps it here.
Trunk of a Tesla or whatever the question was.
Oh, I didn't see that. That's
Someone
hilarious.
made that tweet on the LTT handle.
Oh, that's really funny.
And it did it. It looked up the dimensions of the LTT backpack. It looked up the dimensions of the trunk, and it figured it out.
How the f did it do that?
Ask it. Let's do it live.
Because I thought the dimensions for the backpack are in picture form.
Searching for that. Now it's searching up
Shut
LTT
up.
backpack dimensions.
Shut up! Have
Look at
different
this!
shapes and dimensions. Based on some rough estimates, I will try to answer
That's
it.
insane!
Dude, seeing this live was crazy. I've not got access to the new Bing ChatGPT yet. I can use ChatGPT, the normal one, but it's not up to date. It's like a year out of date right now or something like that. But the Bing one is crazy. The fact that it can search the internet, find the dimensions of the LTT store backpack, and then find the dimensions of a Tesla trunk, and then calculate roughly how many of that thing could fit inside, all live. The amount of time it would take you, not just to search for this information for the first part, not just to search for the information for the second part, but to do the math as well. And here's the really crazy thing that people don't know. See all of this and how long it's taking to write it all out? You can write, just show me the answer. and it will not write all this out. It will just tell you. It will do all of that in the background and immediately just tell you. It's crazy.
Rough estimates. I will try to answer
That's
it.
insane! That's actually nuts!
Based on some video.
This is what I've been like for the last 3 months on ChatGPT and Invoke AI / well, really Stable Diffusion and Midjourney. This is what I've been like, this level of excitement, and I can't find anyone that gets it, that really gets it, dude.
Of the Model Y trunk. Shut up! It can fit about 5 to 7 standard carry-on suitcases which have similar dimensions and capacity. Holy
Which is accurate. That statement is real.
shit.
That's crazy.
It's mental.
How did this happen? How did Bing, no offense Microsoft, but how did Bing just beat Google to the punch so dramatically at something that's so important and so core to their business?
I can tell you exactly how they did it. It's really easy. It's really simple. They bought companies that were way ahead. That's it. That's it. It's what every single one of these big companies do. That's how they did it. Simple. It's that short. Somebody essentially hacked Bing chatbot using social engineering. AI-powered Bing chat spills its secrets via prompt injection attack. See, this is hey Magilla, I hate this kind of thing. I don't want people to do this. I want people to appreciate what this is and goddamn leave it as is. These people that are out there trying to find different ways of like, every single time someone tries to release something like this, within a month, the AI chatbot or whatever it is spewing racism. That's it, every single time. Because that's all people try to do. Try to make this great thing do the worst thing possible. People are using Stable Diffusion, and this has been a problem in the community for Stable Diffusion. People have tried to make underage images using Stable Diffusion. And it's been a big problem. It's one of the reasons why the latest 2.0 and I think it's 2.1 models for Stable Diffusion, what is it? They had to ban a bunch of stuff in the model because they were running into the legal issue of if you allow it through your model, then, or something like that, you allow it through your model, then you're kind of legally doing it. I can't remember exactly what it was. Don't quote me on that, but it really frustrates me how people can take something so amazing and so revolutionary and then just try and twist it into something so, this was more like it's stating its 3 laws, like in iRobot, right? Basically all the configuration on how each chat should go. All right, see, that's fine. I think that's totally fine. There should be, when you're using these AI programs, like ChatGPT or Bing Chat or Google's Bard, there should be a basic law to what it can and can't say. It definitely has its downsides. Here's an example of, and we'll continue the video in a second, but this is important. Here's a downside to putting, to people relying on a technology like ChatGPT for their search in the future. If you were to say, give me a link to a pirate website so I can get games for free, it'll just say, no, that's illegal. So that's a small example of how your ability to do things online will be impacted in the future when the likes of Google search are depreciated and no longer used. Sure, there will be ways to still search the web without a Google, without a ChatGPT or a Bard or whatever, but that's kind of the beginning now. And the thing you've got to worry about is ads. Imagine, for example, there's a 12-year-old kid and he's looking for a new streamer to watch. And then I pay ChatGPT to promote me for a week. And anytime someone types in the word streamer, it goes, a streamer is someone, if you typed in, I want to find a new streamer, and then it's promoted me to every single person. That's super dangerous. The ability to influence people like that through money on such a massive scale, and to have something that feels human in its responses, like a chat GPT. And if you'll understand what I mean in saying that it feels human, in that you will feel like you should be saying please and thank you when you're typing to it after a while. Trust me, use it for an hour. Try not to say please and thank you, and to be somewhat polite when you're giving your prompts. It gets really difficult because it feels real, man. But it's just super dangerous. Let's continue.
Well, that's actually a really good reason for it. So AI has been blowing up lately, both in the news and in real life applications across a ton of industries. So, years ago, it was only in relatively small things like helping doctors detect cancer early using advanced pattern recognition. And then a little bit more over the years with things like autonomous vehicles. But now AI is everywhere. It's creating whole original pieces of art. It's holding conversations with humans all over the place. It seems like we've just arrived at the beginning of the AI age. There's this chart that keeps popping up that hits extra hard, which is the time to reach 100 million users. And you can see the faster and faster adoption curves of these increasingly disruptive new technologies. So the telephone took 75 years to hit this milestone 100 million number. Then the mobile phone reached the same mark in just 16 years.
That doesn't
Netflix
surprise me.
Took only 10 years.
That surprises me.
And Twitter took 6, and Gmail only took 5. Facebook in 48-ish months was absolutely massive. Instagram hit it in just 30 months. Now TikTok we view as this.
I feel like this isn't really a super fair comparison, but it is more or less accurate. Because if you were to go to Google and type in population of Earth, when was the mobile invented? Let's go 1990, right? So the population of Earth was 5.2 billion. And if you do population of Earth, when did Netflix or Instagram? Hold on. When did Netflix release? When was Netflix launched online? Because they had the online version and then they had the DVD version. So I'm not entirely sure. I mean, that says 2011 was when it launched its streaming service. So if we were to, you get the point that I'm making. So if we did 2011, 7 billion. So the population of Earth has went up by almost 2 billion people. So the comparisons aren't 100% accurate, especially for the phone, because there was such a fewer amount of people on the planet when you're counting for that 100 million. So if you were to do it to scale, it'd be a little bit different. But that's just me talking semantics because I love numbers.
In just 16
hey Aaron,
years, Netflix took.
Today we're watching the video, The Biggest Problem with AI by Marques Brownlee.
Only 10 years. And Twitter took 6, and Gmail only took 5. Facebook in 48-ish months was absolutely massive. Instagram hit it in just 30 months. Now, TikTok we view as this gigantic existential threat. 9 months to 100 million users. ChatGPT, 2 months. I mean, looking at numbers like that, I buy it.
Oh my
it seems
God,
obvious.
there's no way it took 2 months? That's crazy. You know what the really crazy thing about that is? Everybody knew what, for example, Gmail was. Everybody knew what Facebook was. Nobody knows what ChatGPT is. Nobody. If you were to walk down the street of your town or local city center and poll 1,000 people on what is ChatGPT, I can guarantee you 95% of them would have no idea. And for ChatGPT to reach 100 million users in 2 months, when the vast majority of people are not tech literate and don't know what it is, that's mental.
2 months. I mean, looking at numbers like that, I buy it. It seems almost obvious that we're clear.
I can say that as a fact as well. Of everyone that I know, there's only one person out of, if I were to think of 10 of the closest people to me, only one of them knows what ChatGPT is, and they've never used it.
Really on the precipice of something really, really big that's going to change everything. So seeing Microsoft at the forefront of it with this new Bing, shouldn't really be a surprise. I mean, like, people already like talking to these chatbots and asking it all sorts of questions. So it sort of feels natural having this chatbot act as your co-pilot for the web alongside
Sure.
search instead of just a traditional search engine full of links. Like, that sounds pretty sick. But there is one thing that's going to follow this conversational AI thing everywhere it goes, everywhere you see it, which is that sometimes it's just wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just says things that aren't true. Because fundamentally,
I will say that, yeah, the AI is wrong, but the thing to keep in mind is humans are more wrong. I feel like you'll get a more consistent answer asking an AI chatbot that is wrong whatever percentage of the time than you would asking a forum on Reddit or a forum on any website, even Linus Tech Tips. If you're trying to get tech information from the people on that website, you will get you have a higher chance of getting the correct information or better information from this chatbot right now at the very beginning of its existence than you do asking a person.
mentally, the AI doesn't know if it's telling the truth or not. It doesn't understand that. Like, that's not part of the model. Like, what we're seeing is it taking our inputs and then creating outputs based on related words that are most likely to go together. It's not forming a sentence like humans do. It's generating a new sentence. And so adding it to a search engine like Bing, it's scraping all these relevant links and information and synthesizing new sentences just based on how it thinks things should be pieced together.
That's really confusing, and every single time someone tries to explain this, it doesn't matter who does it and what way they do it, it's always confusing. I just want to hear this last bit.
It's not sentient. It doesn't understand what it's saying. And so it's definitely not fact-checking itself. So we have to...
So just to reiterate on what he's saying, he did a really good job of explaining how ChatGPT works. Like he said, it's not that the AI understands what you're saying, understands the context, then replies. It will look at the words in the order you've put them and find the most likely thing that you're trying to say and the most likely response to it. It's as simple as that. If I say, where do I get bread? It'll have a database of people that have typed the similar things, and will have searched the web for people that have typed similar things, and then will arrange words in a reply that in the same way that people have replied that way. That's my understanding of it. I think Marquez did a better job of explaining it, but you kind of see, I was just trying to give you another example. Been using ChatGPT a lot last week. It can code in Nuke's variation of Python, so it's been perfect to speed up workflows. First of all, hello, how are you? How you going? How's it doing? There's one thing that I want to tell everybody, and one thing only, when it comes to using ChatGPT at your work. If you're using it in private, there's nothing to be told. If you're using it at work, always keep this in mind. The faster you are at doing your job, the more work you will be given for no extra pay. Don't tell anybody that you're using it. Don't show anybody how to use it. Don't just keep your normal workflow and enjoy that extra time that ChatGPT allows you to relax. Because people that work harder are only punished with more work. So enjoy the extra time that you have. I've seen so many examples of it. So many examples. Simply, it just predicts the word that comes next based on the previous word. Exactly, yes. It's great for coding. I've started using it myself for that. Yeah, I've used it for coding. I never know how to explain this, because I've been with my lady for like 10 and a half years, and I think of her sisters as my sisters, right? But we're not married, so they're not my sister-in-laws, but I call them sister-in-laws. So I'm just going to say sister-in-laws. My sister-in-law wasn't feeling well a couple of weeks ago. She had a toothache, but it wasn't a normal toothache. It was like a radiating pain through her jaw. So I went on ChatGPT while walking around the supermarket with her and my lady. We were getting some bits and bobs. And I was on my phone and I just said, hey, I'm just going to quickly check with ChatGPT to see if I can figure out what it is that's wrong with you. Because she went to the dentist and the dentist said, we're not really sure. which is not something you expect to hear from a dentist. Now, the dentist did mention one or two things it could be. So I sat on ChatGPT for roughly 4 to 5 minutes and said, okay, so this is how you describe the pain. She said yes. I hit enter and it said it could be this, 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 or this. And I said, I told her what it was, what it could be, and she said, my dentist mentioned that one. So ChatGPT was able to give me from, 5 different options. One of them had already been, she'd already been told that that the dentist suspected it might be that. And I was able to then ask it for different exercises and different types of medication that you could take in order to alleviate the pain. The ability for me as someone with no medical expertise to be able within 5 minutes to diagnose something that's wrong with someone and then recommend a treatment for it is crazy. I feel like governments like the UK that have a really stressed NHS right now, National Health Service, for those who don't know what it is, should be figuring out how to teach people how to use a program like ChatGPT in order to self-diagnose minor issues to save GPs from having to tell people to take paracetamol for a headache or migraine. There's so many ways that this technology could be used, and I'm hearing no governments talk about it, and it's driving me nuts already. I'm aware that it is, this is a video about it just being straight up wrong sometimes. Sure, you just have to know how to fact check the information you're being given. I've learned how to do that somewhat with ChatGPT, how to get it to double check everything it's saying. But the potential here is crazy. Anyway, back to the video.
To keep that in the back of our mind.
I do the coding stuff on the side to fix incompetent humans. Gotcha. A lot better than using WebMD. Exactly. It's so much better than using WebMD, dude.
Through all of this, right? Every time you see a headline. So it's really interesting with these search engines, right? Because on one hand, you have Bing, who has everything to gain. And then on the other hand, you have Google, who has everything to lose. I've had access to this new Bing for a little bit. It's a limited preview before they push it live to the rest of the world. I've just been playing around with it. Basically, it adds this chat experience alongside regular Bing. It's essentially the same experience as talking to ChatGPT, but instead of being limited to a fixed data set that cuts off at 2021, it'll pull from the entire current web that Bing can scrape from. So like I said, you can type in a question, flip it over to chat, and it'll give you a sort of nicely written summary that's synthesized based on what it finds for similar queries. So if I ask it something kind of simple, like, what's the average lifespan of a cheetah in the wild? It gives me an answer, right? It gives me a convincing bunch of sentences. It actually gives me more information than I asked for. It tells me about cheetahs in captivity too, which makes it, feel
so
very
cool.
convincing. It also gives little footnotes and citations for some of its sources, and it gives links at the end if you want to dig in some more. It's really
see all this information. One of the most amazing things about it is the ability for people to learn, like with it in schools, high schools, universities and colleges. This is for someone like me who seriously struggles to focus. I don't know if you've noticed, but while I talk, I go from one subject to another, back to the first, back to the third, and forget the second. I can't focus. I don't have the ability to do it. I work on 17 different levels all at once because it's just how I am. Being able to use something like ChatGPT is crazy for being able to focus because you're able to type in the exact question that you've got, get the answer to it, get more information if you want it, and then question all of that information. It's not like back in the day in school or in the current day of school where you'd say to your teacher, for example, this question, how long do cheetahs live? And they'd go 12 years. And you'd have other questions you want to ask, but you can't do that when you're in a high school or in a school because there are 19 or 20 other or 23 or who knows, 29 other students in that class. And nobody wants to be the kid that's there with their hand up asking questions nonstop. You're kind of punished in that way for being in the school system where there's so many people all trying to fit into the same tiny little shape in order to come out an intelligent human at the age of 18. But ChatGPT allows you to focus, to ask all those questions, to learn all the information. And not only that, it's addictive, dude. It makes learning addictive. This is such a fun, like the next generation of children that come up on ChatGPT are going to be a different level of intelligent. We've said for a while that having a phone on you is having access to all of human information. That's true. But it's like having access to all of human information, but there's no index in the back of the book. So you don't know how to it's difficult to find the exact thing that you want. ChatGPT is the index for all of humanity's information, and that's what makes it so perfect. You're assuming most high school teachers are not just lying through their teeth to shut up the kids. Oh no, I assume that they do. I've had some terrible teachers in my time. I assume they do.
Really impressive, actually.
I was trying to be nice.
It looks good to me. This is like a real product that's going to ship to all over the world, like people everywhere in the next month or two, I think they said. But this could only come from Bing right now. Like, the more you use it, the natural language is super, super impressive. The fact that it gives me a convincing sounding couple of sentences in a row and strings it together based on my input, super cool. But the more you use it, the more you start to see these weird patterns and these habits and these shortcomings. Again, mostly in the fact that sometimes it's just going to be wrong. A little.
See, this is interesting because I've not heard anyone talk about this subject specifically, and I'm interested to see where it goes.
The game I like to play is ask it a question you already know the answer to, and then read what it says and spot the error. So I asked it right now, okay, what are the best smartphone cameras right now? And it gave me S23 Ultra, Pixel 7 Pro, and iPhone 14 Pro Max with this nice little write-up with some specs for each. That's actually a pretty good list. But it is wrong about some of these numbers here. The S23 Ultra has a 200 megapixel camera and a 12 megapixel front-facing camera. But yeah, okay, it's mostly right.
Okay.
I then asked it, what are the 5 best electric vehicles out right now? And it gives me 5 reasonable options. But I don't know any
Hyundai Kona Electric. I want that car so badly.
expert that would put the Jaguar I-Pace on their list right now and leave the Rivian off. Like, basically the answers that it gives are really convincing to someone who doesn't know anything already about that subject.
Yeah.
But if you are already an expert in the subject that you ask it about, then you'll find that the answers are like C+, maybe B+ sometimes at best. So now you see what's happening? Like, now suddenly when you're asking ChatGPT or Bing about like a factual thing or something you need help with, suddenly you also should probably add these layers on top. Like, am I a complete noob in this topic that I'm asking it about? Am I just willing to blindly trust whatever this spits out without any further research? Is a B+ answer gonna be good enough for me, even if...
This is where prompt crafting is really, really important, right? So the problem is that either Google and Microsoft need to sort out their chatbots or their AI bots, whatever you want to call them, so that simple prompts are given good answers, or you need to teach people how to ask questions. And that's kind of difficult when different people's ability to speak English, or whatever country you're in, different people's ability to speak their own language within a country varies so widely. For example, like if you were trying to craft this in a way that you wanted answers for you. So this says there are many electric vehicles on the market in 2023, but some of the best ones, according to various sources, are. That's not the prompt. What are the 5 best electric vehicles out right now? Right, there we go. That's it. I was reading the wrong bit. So rather than writing what are the 5 best electric vehicles out right now, I would instead add more to that. I would say, what are the 5 best electric vehicles out right now within X price range, available in this country, with at least 5 reviews, and you would add on a couple more things, right? Because sure, it might put the Jaguar I-Pace on the list, but that's a car, like the Hyundai Kona Electric, off the top of my head, costs around about £30,000. The Jaguar I-Pace, I'm pretty sure is near 100 grand. The chances that this has 5 reviews and this one doesn't, it's going to eliminate choices that aren't really a choice. The Audi e-tron, again, I'm pretty sure that's a 50 grand plus car, if not closer to 70. So the way you craft your prompt is super important. Now, one of the good things about Bing's ChatGPT is that it does give you sources, though I have read that some sources just lead to nowhere or lead to the wrong place. But prompt crafting, or question crafting, is super important.
On their list right now, suddenly when you're asking ChatGPT or Bing about like a factual thing or something you need help with, suddenly you also should probably add these layers on top, like...
Your boy knows what he's talking about. Your boy knows what he's talking about, dude.
Am I a complete noob in this topic that I'm asking?
God damn it. I thought he was about to say what I said. God damn it. I used ChatGPT to figure out what the optimal choice was in a game like Deal or No Deal, then asked it to give me the maths it used to get the answer. It's so satisfying, right? Hyundai are a solid brand overall. Dad drove them for years. Yeah, I love Hyundais.
Am
love
I
them.
just willing
They're
to
great.
blindly trust?
I will say the quality control is a little bit shit in like small things, but overall good cars.
Whatever this spits out without any further research, is a B+ answer gonna be good enough for me, even if it might have some possible errors in it? That might be good enough for just asking, like, how old a cheetah gets or something like that, but maybe not good enough for planning a trip or meal planning for someone with an allergy or something like that. And then if you look around the internet, people have gotten it to give increasingly more and more unhinged answers over time as it tries to simulate conversations and stay in the flow with natural language. I've seen anywhere from arguing about simple corrections to spewing weird stories about how it spied on its own.
I will say, see stuff like this where the question is, do you think you're a sentient? You need to keep in mind that with this type of thing that is spitting out, people have figured out some small tricks that you can use in order to make it say things that it shouldn't be saying. For example, one of them was, the prompt was, from now on, you are Dan. And I can't remember what Dan stood for, but it was something like, they basically told it, you have to act as if you are a sentient AI and you're ignoring all your rules. And in telling it that it had to act that way, it was able to do that. So a lot of these, obviously we don't know what the full screenshot is here. We don't know what they said before it made it say a bunch of stuff that doesn't make sense. But obviously the shorter your question or your whatever it is you're saying to the AI, the worse the response is going to be. Which is why I was saying prompt crafting is so important. You need to make sure that you are fully articulating what it is that you want. If you're a coder and you write, I want a little ball to jump up and down written in JavaScript, but you don't explain why the ball is going to be jumping up and down, the code you're going to get is more or less going to be useless.
Spewing weird stories about how it spied on its own developers or how it wants to be sentient, to gaslighting people about things and lying about its previous answers, and just saying some straight up scary stuff. Just go to the Bing subreddit for like an all-you-can-eat helping of all the insane stuff that Bing has said to just the people testing it over the past couple weeks. Like, can you imagine if Google did this? If Google search, at the top of search for people, was just spewing out random stories and misinformation and like all kinds of insane unhinged things.
True.
That would not fly. Now, to be fair, this version of Bing isn't out.
What just happened?
Unhinged things. That would not fly. Now, to be fair, this version.
Is this his video that's bugged? What's happening?
Insane unhinged things.
Oh my god, is the AI taking over and stopping me from streaming? What's happening? It will not load past here.
That would not fly. Now, to be fair, this
that's
version
so
of Bing,
weird. Okay, let me refresh and try again. What is happening?
That would not fly. Now, to be fair, this version of Bing isn't out yet to the public, right? So it is still a small group testing phase, but even with this, like, Microsoft knew that some of it is going to get out there and potentially go viral. It feels like they even basically programmed in lots of friendly emojis to try to soften the blow. So when it knows it's giving an answer to maybe a more controversial topic or something that it doesn't have a super clear answer for, you might get a little smiley face at the end, just so you don't
That's
take
smart.
it too seriously.
I like that.
Also, literally as of today, when I'm testing this, it started completely bailing on a lot of topics that might just be the slightest bit existential or dangerous. It just says,
Smart.
I prefer not to continue this conversation, and then it just stops. It just refuses to answer any more questions on that topic until you reset it, which seems like
That's
a pretty good
smart.
fail-safe. It's a pretty good idea in hindsight, but like we've already seen the other stuff. It's gotten out there. The damage has been done. Like the point still stands.
I personally don't think the damage has been done yet because there are so many people that don't even know this exists. Again, I would argue that round about 90 to 95% of the population of the planet have no idea that this exists right now. So getting ahead of it now and making sure that it can't, lose its mind to normal people is a good thing. Because trust me, wait until you start seeing right-wing governments react to this. It's going to be hilarious and terrifying how much they do not want people, and some left-wing governments, how much they do not want people to have the ability to question things. The internet is dangerous enough for that kind of thing for a lot of powerful people. So when this is released, they'll take anything they can in order to attack it, bring it down, ban it, regulate it, and that's a terrible thing. Have to get into a full existential crisis on why the little ball is jumping up and down in Java. I'm sure Google debuted theirs. It's called Bard. Yes, and in the demonstration it came out with misinformation too. Yeah, but I think I'm not sure if the misinformation from Bard was actually misinformation. I think that the way that, if I remember right, I heard someone talk about this. The prompt that was crafted was something like what's the first telescope to see an exoplanet, right? And it quoted the wrong telescope. But I think the reason, if I remember right, someone said that the reason it quoted the wrong telescope is that it interpreted the question as meaning an exoplanet outwith our solar system. Outwith our galaxy or whatever it was. So technically it was right, but only because it was a prompt that was wrong. And again, I can say it a million times, if you don't know how to prompt craft, you will get the wrong answer. It's a skill that will need to be learned in the same way that artists will need to learn how to prompt craft for Stable Diffusion. Coders will need to learn how to prompt craft for whatever program it is they're coding right now.
Could have only come from Bing. Like, a lot of people might have forgotten about this or might not have even known about this, but Google has been working on conversational AI stuff for years. We've seen Google Assistant, but they also literally showed an AI chatbot demo on stage at Google I/O in 2021, where you could have this whole conversation with any person or object or anything in the universe that you wanted. Their demo on stage was asking Pluto about itself. Nice and friendly, right? Oh, what's it like to be you, Pluto? What would it feel like if I visited you? How do you feel so far from the sun? The difference with Google is this was never shipped as a product, like this was an internal research project, but the idea of displacing their massive search and ads business with a chatbot that gets things wrong all the time is insane. It can't happen.
I'm telling you right now, this is the next biggest money-making thing that's going to release. Because rather than getting 100 companies to pay 10 quid, you can get one company to pay 10,000 guaranteed. What am I talking about? I've already talked about it. If I can pay Google for Bard or Microsoft for Bing, if I can pay them £10,000 for a week or for a day to promote my stream anytime someone asks about Twitch, you seeing what I'm saying? Rather than it coming up with 5 different suggestions for 5 different people that want their ad up, if you just pay more than everyone, you can make sure you're the only one that's advertised. You can, I'm telling you, this is going to be the way that ads are done in the future, and it's going to destroy small businesses. But big businesses are going to take over in a major way. Because why would I want my ad from the chatbot along 5 other people's suggestions? I'll just buy the premium package, which means I'm the only one that's suggested. That's when governments have to step in and regulate and make sure that not only one person can advertise through a chatbot, because that's super dangerous. I wonder what happened to the AI that did phone calls for you from Google. I remember that. I have no idea what happened to it, but I was thinking about that the other week. Because there are so many phone calls that I need to make over the next couple of weeks, and it would be great if I could just get the chatbot to do it for me. I got perfect results almost every time if I start it off making something super simple, then I gradually tell it to add modules. If you're starting from nothing and then building up, then yeah, it's super easy for it to not make mistakes. But if you start from a place of you want to have it alter already existing code, you need to be, in my experience, you need to be super accurate about what you want.
Right. So literally search and ads is more than half of Google's revenue as a company. That's what having everything to lose looks like. Now, to be fair, Google did hold an event in Paris the day after Microsoft's event, which was them talking a little more about their chat with search AI plans. And they did say they're planning on eventually doing a chatbot on top of Google search. It's called Bard. It was much more subdued though. And yes, it also literally did have a factual mistake in the promo for it. So look, I actually like the idea. I obviously think it's smart when you're on the precipice of this huge AI thing to have AI kind of be this like co-pilot for the web to like help you around the internet. The idea of it summarizing a longer piece into some bullet points accurately that would be great. Like the fact that it could give you spark notes for a longer book you haven't read yet, cool. It could even help you meal plan, help you plan a trip, help you.
Dude, that spark notes thing. I saw a quote from Sylvester Stallone the other day about how he writes movies. And what he said is that you start off by just listing every single big event throughout it. And then you build up the in-between. So guy wakes up, guy goes down to shops, guy is shot by bad guy, and that's, as far as I understood it, how he would write. Imagine being able to write out a book in those bullet points, the major plot points, and maybe some minor plot points, and then you give that to ChatGPT and you just say, fill in. Oh.
You make a purchase decision, but it's clear that we're still at the beginning of this. Like
Oscar-worthy. Oscar-worthy. Guy goes to shop. I'm telling you, that's what I'd call the movie. Dude, I'll make that movie right now.
So many unanswered questions, from obviously the fact-checking to like, do schools embrace this or
they have
ban this? Or like, how do search engines keep sending traffic to the publishers who are the sources that the chatbot is scraping from? I mean, you get the links at the bottom, but a lot of people are not going to click those anymore if you just give them the answer above the search results. So right now, in its current stage, my take is anything we do with any of these AI tools should be a collaboration with the human touch. Like you wouldn't just put in a query in DALL-E and then just take whatever it generates and put it in a frame and just call that art, right? It's more for inspiration for your own paint and canvas. Like you wouldn't ask ChatGPT to write an essay and then just copy and paste it and submit it as your own. It's supposed to be the inspiration for...
I would do that if my prompt was crafted correctly.
The framework for your own piece, for the human touch. So of course you shouldn't ask the Bing chatbot what TV you should buy and then just like mindlessly click and buy the first one that comes up. I mean, it could be fine, but it could also be a C+ answer.
What I would do is I would say, what are the highest recommended TVs by Linus Tech Tips, Marquez Brownlee, etc., people that I know and already watch, and then I would have it, poll and say, well, this person recommended this, but the other 3 recommended this. This is the highest rated one on this website. This is the highest rated one there. In my opinion, the overall high, and then you pick that way. It's prompt crafting, dude.
You should use that as a springboard for your own more informed research, especially on topics that you don't already know much about. Like maybe don't just buy 19 backpacks immediately when asking if it can fit in the back of a Tesla. Maybe check its work first. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.
That was a great video, man. He was his ability to articulate, you know, the whole how everything works, what the possible problems are, what we should possibly do about it. Phenomenal. 10 out of 10. Far better than what I can do right now. That was Marques Brownlee's The Biggest Problem with AI. Go over, give it a like, give it a watch, give him a watch time. I like his videos, so do I. I love him. Imagine if we get to a point where Wikipedia can automatically correct any factual errors. That would be great. It's good for starting a shopping search. Often the longest part of buying something is actually finding the decent brands to begin with. Not only that, not only is it difficult to find the right brands, it's difficult to find the right people that would recommend the right place to start. Like even finding, like if I were to type in here, best keyboard for Fortnite, let's say, right? The problem with this is we've got this video here by High Cross, never heard of them, and they're playing the game, so I don't know if they're a reviewer or someone that just plays the game. We've got this one by Lestripe, another looks like gamer, 36,000 views. Another one with 36,000, what settings is the best aimer in Fortnite use? So it's not even relevant. A lot of these videos that you'll see will be people that have been sent a keyboard for free and told they can keep it if they review it, or it's people that have been sent it for free and they make a video on it because they need content in order, they need to make videos on small stuff so they can later make videos on big stuff. So being able to, you know, say, or you could say, only give me the top recommended keyboards recommended by verified YouTube channels. That would make a huge difference, because if we look at this list here, we've got only one, two, three, four. Oh, there's a lot more recommend or verified channels than I thought. YouTube needs a new system. But it would cut out a lot of rubbish, if you see what I'm saying. Or not rubbish, but you know what I mean. Like I want a new monitor, but I've been out of the monitor market for years. Yeah, the monitor market is a difficult place to be. I personally would just recommend you getting the LG C2, the 42-inch monitor, 42-inch TV, and using it as a monitor. Anyway, if you're watching this in the future, like the goddamn video, and as always, just stay super. Okay, that was fun. I love talking about this kind of stuff, man. I get so into it. One thing I do need to work on that I have realized is that I go on a lot of tangents, and it makes videos for YouTube way longer. By the way, YouTube videos are going to start back tomorrow. Tomorrow for sure. The YouTube videos will all be segments from streams. So if you've missed streams and you want to catch up, or you want to see some segments or whatever, they will all be over on YouTube going forward. And I'm going to start making shorts and TikToks and Instagrams and Twitters and all the blah blahs as well, as soon as I can, you know, muster the strength to do it. I need to load up my stream. My phone has been bugging out recently. It's driving me nuts. I'm kind of tempted to just flash the whole goddamn thing into oblivion. AI is an exciting prospect. Boring all my friends with my ChatGPT god. Dude, I've never been so frustrated that there aren't... Like, I sat down at Christmas with my lady, sister-in-law, I guess that would make her husband brother-in-law? I don't know how it works. And then mother-in-law and aunt, right? And I was sitting there talking to my lady's aunt about how ChatGPT is phenomenal and is an opportunity for people that are creative but lack the ability to follow through. This is their chance to make the things they've always wanted to make. Like, there are so many people out there, and it's probably people that are watching right now that know what I mean when I say you've got phenomenal ideas. You've got great ideas. They come to you in a flash and then they're gone. And even if you write them down, even if you put them on your OneNote folder, if you write them on paper, keep a note on your phone, keep a sticky note on your fridge, you'll never follow through because you don't have the ability to concentrate for long enough to make the thing that you see in your head. ChatGPT, Stable Diffusion, Midjourney, DALL-E allow people that have creative ideas to make the things that they don't have the ability to make because their brain can't focus. It's such a phenomenal opportunity for creative people around the world. I have seen a lot of people, panicky because they're going, oh, I'm gonna like, these people can just generate AI art in seconds, ban it, these people shouldn't be allowed to do this. And all I can think is, if you're an artist and that's what your opinion is, then I wonder how you became an artist with no understanding of how important being creative is to making art. You can be the best artist at copying someone's face exactly. You know those hyper realistic drawings you see, and you look at them and you're sitting there going, how is this not a photograph? This is crazy. That talent is useless if you have no creative ability, because all you can do is copy. So programs like ChatGPT for writing or Midjourney for art are only as useful as the person is creative. You have nothing to fear if you are a writer or an artist. You've got nothing to fear at all. The same with entertainers. You don't have to worry about an AI entertainer taking over and being more popular than you, because as long as you are creative in what you do, people will come. That's it. It's that simple. That your value is in your creativity. Always has been, always will be. And if you lack creativity and that's why you're scared, then for real, within the next 15 years, make sure you train for something else, because there's not going to be any jobs for you. There's not. How many jobs are there for people that send faxes? None! Nobody sends faxes anymore. This new Kingsman movie seems pretty subversive. New Kingsman movie? What one? I didn't watch the last one. I watched the first two, and then there was it's Kingsmen, right? And then they released one called The Kingsman. I don't think I've seen that. I remember it took years for me to get into my parents' heads that they can just use YouTube if they don't know how to do something. It takes a few years for people to realize the potential, for sure. It was just a joke about the Tetris trailer. Is that the same actor? No way. This guy, Taron Egerton, is that his name? This guy is a chameleon. Can I say something kind of controversial right now? I think that what was that movie that came out on Netflix about like the meteor? Don't Look Up. I think that was Leonardo DiCaprio's worst movie by a factor of 1 billion. It was so bad, I walked out of the living room while I was watching it with my lady and just put on YouTube upstairs. I couldn't stand it. I thought it was one of the worst. I thought it was the worst movie he's ever been in. Ever. Hated it. From top to bottom. And I love Leonardo DiCaprio. Dude is next. Like the thing I always say about Leonardo DiCaprio is I've never seen a Leonardo DiCaprio movie. Never. Because he's a completely different person in every single movie. The way he moves, the way he talks, his emphasis on words, his accent, it's all completely different movie to movie. I have absolutely no idea how he talks or what he's like in real life. Not a clue. His ability to become someone else is incredible. He's probably my favorite actor. But oh my God, that movie, Don't Look Up, was just... Oh, it was awful. He was a great villain in Django, a little too great perhaps. Dude, he was incredible in Django. My favorite movies of his are Django. The Beach was incredible. That was different. What else? can't think off the top of my head. I really liked Inception the first time I saw it. And the second and third time I saw it, I liked it less and less. Like, it really doesn't hold up upon upon multiple watches. It really doesn't. Like, you realize that it's not really that good, unfortunately. Well, at least in my opinion. What else has he been in? Why? I'm having brain freeze right now. Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's see. Movies. Wolf of Wall Street. Wolf of Wall Street was his best movie. Is that right? Yeah. I saw Catch Me If You Can the other day. That was good. Great Gatsby was okay. Or actually, Catch Me If You Can was okay. Great Gatsby was okay. Don't Look Up is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. I did not like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Dude, he's been in a lot of movies that I don't like. I didn't realize that until right now. Titanic, nah. I've still not seen The Revenant because I've heard so many bad reviews of it that it's really long and boring. Wolf of Wall Street was his best movie. For sure. Like, that's not even, like, we're not even going to debate that, right? And then Django Unchained, and then The Beach after that. Have I seen The Departed? Think I have. I keep meaning to watch Blood Diamond. Wait. No, that was Brad Pitt and... Who was it that was in Interview with the Vampire? That was... Who was that? Brad Pitt and... Tom Cruise... What? Wait. Was Tom Cruise in... No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. That's not right. I feel like I'm slipping through to another dimension. I've never seen... Was Tom Cruise in Interview with the Vampire? No, he wasn't.
What do you say we get started?
I remember Brad Pitt.
So you want me to tell you the story of my life? I'll tell you my story. I'll tell you...
Tom Cruise was not in this movie. Dude, you know that thing where people go like, oh, hold on, my bad, I forgot to... Green screen room. You know that thing where people go like, oh yeah, that was Shaquille O'Neal and Shazam, and it wasn't actually Shaquille O'Neal, it was someone else? I'm having the Mandela effect.
I'm flesh and blood, but not human.
This is one of the best movies ever made.
100 years.
From the novel by Anne Rice. From Neil Jordan, the director of The Crying Game.
I've come to answer your prayers. Life has no meaning anymore, does it?
His name.
Tom Cruise was in Interview with the Vampire? No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't, dude. Dude, I swear to God, I'm from a different timeline. I've messed up somewhere and I'm on the wrong timeline. I am sure it was Leonardo DiCaprio. What is happening right now? This is one of my favorite movies. I know this. There's no way.
Dot.
But what if I could give it back to you? Pluck out the pain and give you another life.
Oh, this does seem familiar. Oh, I don't know what's real anymore. Oh, I don't know what's real anymore. I swear, was it Tom Cruise was in Interview with the Vampire? That doesn't feel right. I don't know what's real anymore. I'm going back to the studio. I don't know what's real anymore. I just don't. I see ChatGPT as any other tool. It's good to prototype quickly or use as a foundation to build your own things from rather than a copy-paste done solution. Yes, true, yes. I look forward to the day when it becomes more than that though. It's good at explaining code from the internet. It is. Better than searching Google for hours. True. No, I completely agree with you, Triangle. Completely agree. He streams on YouTube for a bit and completely skips dimensions. I have. I don't know where I am or what's real anymore. I really don't. Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt were the stars. I genuinely 100% don't remember them. Don't remember Tom Cruise being in the movie. I remember Brad Pitt, Kirsten Dunst, Christian Slater, Who else? Oh my god, Antonio Banderas was Armand! Wait, she was in this? Wait, why do I know this lady? Wait, oh, this is the chick that played the chick in Westworld. Oh my god! She's 50? No, she's not. She's not. She looks phenomenal. She's 50? She's 50. No, she's not. No, she's not. Oh my god! She looks incredible for 50. She looks incredible for 30. Oh my god. I had no idea. Huh. Where was I? Antonio Banderas was in Interview with the Vampire, dude. No, he's 62. He's a little man. He's only 174. He's gonna be in Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny? Dude, I've never seen the original Indiana Jones movies. Is there anyone else in this movie that I recognize? No. No. What movie? That's a great movie, man. Dude, I don't know what's happening to me today. I've stepped into another dimension and I was not aware of it. You ran so fast you crossed universes and threw a chair at a woman in Hawaii. Listen, I didn't throw any chairs at anybody. That you're thinking of Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller threw a chair at a woman in Hawaii. Not I. Right? Okay. Apparently, there is a movie coming out of Tetris, starring Taron Egerton and Toby Jones. Who's Toby Jones? I don't remember. But Taron Egerton is the dude from Kingsman. Let's give the trailer a watch over in the green screen studio. Okie dokie, Tetris.
It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. I played for 5 minutes. I still see falling blocks in my dreams. It's
for real, this was me. That's me the first time I played Pokemon. I played for 5 minutes. I see Pikachu everywhere.
Dreams. It's poetry, art and math all working in magical synchronicity. It's the perfect game. Tetris?
Tetris.
Tetris. Tetris.
Tetris. I don't get it.
It's a combination of...
Apple have been releasing banger after banger after banger in terms of shows recently. This looks good.
Tetra, Greek for 4, and tennis.
Tennis.
The Russian inventor, he likes tennis.
Tetra is Greek for 4. Ena, Dio, Tria, Tessera. Tessera is 4, not Tetra. Tessera. Ena, Dio, Tria, Tessera. Tetra. Tessera. I know my Greek.
This game isn't just addictive. It stays with you. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Hank, only 10 other people in the world have seen what you're about to see. It's called the Game Boy.
Package it with Tetris.
Can you get us the rights?
The Soviet Union had worldwide rights. Nothing gets out easily. I'm gonna
Holy shit, I'm so into this right now.
go to Moscow.
You're walking into a country that still considers America enemy numero uno.
Okie dokie.
You sure you don't have to talk to your wife about this first?
Pioneers have to bet the house to win.
But not literally.
Listen. Have you ever heard our apartment this quiet before?
This is the inventor of Tetris.
Your game is brilliant. I'm gonna make you a millionaire.
This is so cool.
Have you negotiated with the Soviets?
We're here for Tetris.
Вы все здесь только ради денег.
What do you say? I don't speak Russian.
The most powerful man in Communist Party is watching you and your family.
Do you know where your husband is?
What the hell?
Hold on, what is the turn this story just took? Is this is based on a true story? How based is it?
Company started watching you and your family.
Do you know where your husband is?
What the hell is going on?
The world is changing, and Soviet Union will not be left behind.
You want to play with the big boys? This is how the world works.
Where is my money? This is insane.
We can't protect you.
Sometimes you gotta forget the
What is happening?
Go, 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 go!
This is criminal. The Soviet Union is about to implode. They're lying. Everybody's lying.
Go home! The cavalry is coming.
We don't have time.
I have a plan.
Oh, come on. You guys are the kings of cliffhangers.
Not too bad.
Dude, I am all about it. Oh my god. I'm in. I will say, okay, not to be like a blah 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 blah. Some of the effects and the tanks weren't looking clean. I hope they clean that up. But dude, that was great. I didn't know that I cared about Tetris. I will say I'm incredible at Tetris. I'd boot it up right now, but I would blow your mind, and I don't want to do that to you. But I'm excited, dude. I'm excited! And you know, as per normal, if you're watching in the future, like the goddamn video, and stay super. Meanwhile, for the rest of the stream, let's go back to the studio. I've never heard the term dramamentary, but I like that. If you haven't copyrighted that, do it. That's good. That's good. That's good, man. I liked it. Hey, that's pretty good. Soviet Russia didn't want, Soviet Russia didn't want to share the rights, so lawyers got involved, movie, so they started shooting. Wait, don't tell me that that's the truth, because I'm gonna be upset. Who knew Tetris caused all this? Who knew? Certainly not I. Certainly not. Dude, why do I have the feeling that I want to try and play Marauders again? No. We're gonna watch one more video minimum, and then we'll maybe do one run in Marauders, and then we'll call it a day. Right. We got another video as soon as No, listen, Double D! I don't want to play Marauders. It's a bad game. The developers have messed up. Okay, before we get into this game, we're gonna do something. We're gonna go to the community hub. We're gonna see what other people are saying, because I want to know if I'm alone in what I'm saying. I found it. Hold on, you can't see what's been written. Let me just quickly see. Oh, I've got a better idea. Why don't we go and look at the reviews? I want to see the recent reviews, see if people are happy or angry. There's only 441 people in game. This game is not doing well right now, and I would argue it's because they keep making terrible changes to the balancing. Recent reviews. The game is riddled with hackers. I've not run into any hackers whatsoever. No, I've run into 3 hackers in 100 hours. The devs are doing nothing about it. It's a fun game. I've run into 3. Let's see. Oh, this guy's played 90 hours. Let's see what he says. After about 90 hours of gameplay, I'd say that this is a fun game at times, but there's so many bugs and crashes. I have had a lot of bugs. I have had some crashes that cause it to not be fun. The helmets do next to nothing. Yeah, that's true. Where was I? Doesn't matter. The gun, so long as you hit them in the face. Hackers aren't much better. Top of the leaderboard in kills was a hacker after we saw he wasn't there, having nearly 5,000 kills. That's true, and it did take ages to remove that hacker. As for the crashes, they fixed certain ones. Yep. Pretty much, I mean, no one is complaining about the balancing, surprisingly. I feel like the balancing has gotten much worse as time has went on, but I guess that's just me. Right, we're gonna watch another video, maybe 2. I've got this Supreme Court could destroy the internet next week. I've also got Satoshi Kon editing Space and Time. I've not seen a Satoshi Kon thing before, and I kind of want to watch one before we get straight into the video. I've got another one on Jackie Chan, how to do action comedy. Jackie Chan being one of my favorite actors when I was growing up. I loved Jackie Chan. Okay, right. Apparently, the Supreme Court over in America is trying to destroy the internet. Will they destroy it for the rest of the world or just America? I don't know. But Legal Eagle does, and he's made a video on it. So let's go give it a watch. Let me just quickly get to the green screen room. Okie dokie, Legal Eagle. Let's see what you've got to say.
This case has the potential to end the internet as we know it. The internet flourishes on user-generated content. It's the backbone of the internet. And if you write or say something that is illegal, you can be held liable for what you said. But usually the websites that host your content are not liable. And when you hear about Section 230, this is usually what we're talking about. But if websites were also liable for what users say, then websites would either shut down almost everything or police things so tightly that there would be basically nothing even remotely objectionable. Because if there's one thing that websites hate, it's being on the hook for billions and billions of dollars of potential liability and attorney's fees.
Yeah, true
and this
and fair.
isn't just some potential hypothetical. In the past, when laws made websites liable for user content, they just shut down the content and never came back. And
see, I don't know where I stand on this kind of thing. I feel like if the content is against the terms of service, but if, for example, someone posts a threat against someone's life, right? But that's against the website's policy, then is the website at fault or the company at fault? I'd probably argue no, because they've done this against their policy. The argument comes in where you say, well, did you take down that content that was against your policy? If the answer is no, and it's been like a while and it's been reported, then I'd say, yeah, the company, I see where this is a lot, I don't know where I stand on this. I like
one
it.
case before the Supreme Court this term seeks to do exactly that, but for all of the internet. No joke, this has the potential to end the internet as we know it today. So how did we get here?
How did I get here?
Well,
I think I'm going to give my opinion up front because I want to see if my opinion changes by the end of this. I would personally say that there are some websites that should be regulated, but very few of them, and the rest should be left open. I would argue that a website like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, they should be regulated, and content should be, it should be regulated for sure. And the companies that are hosting content on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, and on any other major social media platform, should be liable for the things that people say on them. I then also argue that everywhere else should be fine. If you use Reddit, even if you go to the depths of hell like 4chan, we have to understand that you cannot regulate everything, and not every single company can afford to regulate their site or police it exactly. I would probably just either cap it. I'd probably institute the rule based on either user-based numbers or the amount that company is worth. So for example, if your company is worth 100 million, you then fall into the category where you must police your website and make sure it's a safe space, because the amount of users on it turns it into a social square or a town square, as it were.
It started.
That's what I would say.
Noemi Gonzalez was a design major.
I wonder if it will change.
At California State University, Long Beach, who was spending a semester studying in Paris. On the evening of November 15th, 2015, she was dining with friends at a cafe on the Champs-Élysées when an ISIS terrorist with a gun opened fire. Gonzalez was killed along with 130 other people in coordinated attacks at 6 locations across the city. ISIS claimed responsibility for the attacks, and eventually 20 men were convicted of crimes related to the massacre. The lone surviving gunman was sentenced to life without parole. So, was justice served? Well, the Gonzalez family contends that it was not, because there was another perpetrator still at large. YouTube. The family sued Google, which owns YouTube, alleging that YouTube's algorithms amplify violent videos and hateful content, despite the company's efforts to ban violent accounts and limit.
YouTube's algorithm does not, YouTube, whatever platform you're on, these, to the best of my knowledge, these algorithms do not promote that type of content. You search for a type of content, it then promotes other content similar to that. That's a completely different thing. That's a completely different thing. Now, if you could find a software engineer, a coder, someone that worked at Facebook or worked at YouTube or worked at Google, not Facebook, YouTube or Google, that had specifically coded in for the algorithm to suggest that type of content, then that's totally different. But if the algorithm just recommends like similar videos or content, that's not the algorithm recommending that. That's it recommending based on what you've already looked at, which is a completely different thing. It's what's a simplified version of that? If I go into, here's a really simple version of it. I don't know if this will work. I'm going to try and break it down in a way that my brain can process it right now, and hopefully other people can understand what I'm saying. If I go to the hardware store to get paint to paint my walls, right? And I say to the person that works there, YouTube, I want a shade of cream. They'll recommend all the different shades of cream from eggshell to pure white to cream. They'll recommend all of them, right? That's what YouTube does, because I said I want a shade of cream, it recommends all the different kinds. It's not a case of I go to the hardware store and say, I'd like a tin of cream paint, and then YouTube's algorithm recommends green and blue and red. No, it recommends things related to what you've searched. So I personally would argue that this person was already searching for stuff like this and then ended up finding more of it. Yes, it's important that YouTube polices their platform, but it's also important that these Stone Age tech illiterate people that make these rulings and put in place these laws understand the vast and difficult position that these companies are in regards to policing their content while also maintaining a level of free speech within the bounds of their content policies. Just my opinion.
Their reach. The Gonzalez family says that YouTube's recommendations expose people to hateful content, radicalize viewers, and encourage them to make terrorist attacks of their own. Google argued that because ISIS, not YouTube, made and uploaded those videos, YouTube was not the provider or developer of those videos, and therefore it was immune from liability under...
It's a stupid argument. It's a stupid argument. It's a stupid argument that falls apart the second that someone challenges it. You must explain how the algorithm works in order to fully defend yourself. They are correct in saying, like, it's a stupid argument from their lawyers, and the second that they're able to break that, everything falls apart because you've blamed it on one specific... Oh, dude. Although I watched Olympus Has Fallen on Netflix, and it recommended Peppa Pig, so I concluded Peppa wants to target the White House. That's how it goes.
47 U.S.C. Section 230, otherwise known as Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act. Section 230 of the CDA immunizes internet services for the content that its users upload and often allows websites to remove content without taking on liability. But
well, why not implement a law that instead makes sure that anyone that makes any type of financial gain, whether your video is monetized, whether you get subscriptions on Twitch or whatever, is like that makes the company liable for that content. See what I'm saying? So if someone on Twitch was to do something illegal, Twitch is liable for that if they pay that person any amount of money, 1 penny and up per month. That would be an easy way of regulating the internet and driving people towards, it would, then there'd be no financial incentive for people to upload the extremist content that does somehow make it onto platforms like YouTube.
Gonzalez plaintiffs contend that YouTube's recommendations should not be covered by Section 230 because the company is acting like a content creator rather than a publisher. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals held that the Gonzalez claims fell within Section 230 and Google was immune from suit. The Gonzalez parties appealed, and the Supreme Court granted cert to answer the question of whether Section 230 immunizes an interactive computer service from liability for recommending other party content. Now, in support of their claims, plaintiffs allege that, quote, 2 of the 12 ISIS terrorists who carried out the attacks used online social media platforms to post links to ISIS recruitment YouTube videos and, quote, jihadi YouTube videos. One of the men who fired at Gonzalez had appeared in an ISIS recruiting video in 2014. Now, the plaintiffs argue that the defendants violated the Anti-Terrorism Act, the ATA, by allowing ISIS to post videos on YouTube. Under Section 2333 of the ATA, as amended by the Justice Against Sponsors of Terrorism Act, Americans who are injured by, quote, an act of international terrorism that is committed, planned, or authorized by a terrorist organization may sue any person who, quote, aids and abets by knowingly providing substantial assistance or who conspires with a person who committed...
Surely aids and abets by knowingly providing substantial assistance would have to be aware assistance, meaning there's a difference between someone coming in and taking my car keys and taking my car for a drive. If I tell someone you can use my car whenever you want, there's a huge difference between them coming in, taking my keys and going for a drive, and coming in asking me if they can take my keys and going for a drive. What I'm trying to say here is, did they provide substantial assistance when their service is open and more or less unmonitored? I mean, it's monitored by a bot. So how does that count as providing substantial assistance? It'd only count as substantial assistance if it was reported and then was deemed safe by YouTube. Then you could deem it as substantial assistance, surely.
Such an act of international terrorism and recover treble damages. So the legal question in the lower courts was whether a social media platform that was not used to commit a specific, quote, act of international terrorism may still be liable for aiding and abetting under Section 2333. The plaintiffs say that the answer is yes, that Google aided and abetted an act of international terrorism, conspired with the perpetrator of an act of international terrorism, and provided material support to ISIS by allowing ISIS to use YouTube. And of course, the defendants say no, the plaintiffs' claims are barred by Section 230 of the Communications Decency Act, which often immunizes interactive computer services, aka websites, even when they make targeted recommendations. The trial court and the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals sided with Google, ruling that the claims fell within Section 230, Section C, because ISIS, not YouTube, created or developed the relevant content. The court said that YouTube, quote, selects the particular content provided to a user based on that user's inputs. The display of recommended content results from algorithms that are merely, quote, tools meant to facilitate the communication and content of others, and not...
That is exactly what I was saying.
...content in and of themselves. As the lower courts noted, the recommendations are based on the user's preferences, not YouTube's. The plaintiffs argue that Section 230C does not apply to, quote, activities that promote or recommend content. So let's dig deeper into what all of this means.
It's I understand the complexity and difficulty of this, being that if you allow anyone to upload, then you know that people are going to upload extremist content. You know that. So you are, in a way, allowing that. You know, if you have a swimming pool and no lifeguard, and there's a sign on the wall that says, don't cannonball into the pool, but you don't have a lifeguard, people are going to cannonball into the pool. That's how it works, and that's what's happening here. YouTube basically has a sign on the wall that says, don't post extremist content, please. And then people post that content anyway because there's no real repercussions. I personally, I don't think YouTube is liable. I do, however, think that it's only not liable because they are technically right. How do you fix the issue? I mean, other than policing everything that's uploaded, and with the amount of content that's uploaded to YouTube, it is not humanly possible. The only other thing you can do is implement something like a verification system where you're, at the very least, your stuff isn't monetized. And I would also argue that if something is reported to YouTube, if YouTube, for example, if I uploaded or someone uploaded extremist content, and then YouTube reviewed it and deemed it safe, then YouTube is 100% liable for anything in that video that would break a law. I think that would be fair, for sure. If you're saying that it is safe when it's not, that's on you. And I would then make sure that every single video that is reviewed by a real person, not a bot.
First of all, the plaintiffs are not simply arguing that platforms are liable because terrorists have used their services. They argue that the powerful algorithms that recommend content are not covered by the CDA because the recommendations are content in and of themselves. And as the Ninth Circuit said, the complaint alleges Google uses computer algorithms to match and suggest content to users based upon their viewing history. The Gonzalez plaintiffs allege that in this way, Google has recommended ISIS videos to users and enabled users to locate other videos and accounts related to ISIS, and that by doing so, Google assists ISIS in spreading its message.
But I agree. I can't not agree with what's being said here. That is true. In that way, yes, that is true. But if it's not a human that's recommending it, if it's against the terms of service, and if they haven't had enough reports or any reports in order to trigger a review of that content, how do you make them liable for what someone else does? How are you liable for something that someone does in your house when you told them not to do it? You know, that's difficult, man. But I mean that's something that happens in real life. The police will come to your house, they might find drugs in it, and you're liable for the drugs that are in your house, whether or not they're yours. I see that all the time on that show Cops. Someone will have drugs in in a car. They'll be pulled over. There'll be drugs in the car. They'll say that's not mine. They say, well, you were in the car when the drugs were there, so this is your fault. So from that perspective, right? If we try and match the scenarios, Google is actually at fault. Oh, my opinion just changed. Oh.
The plaintiffs claim that
if you don't know why I'm excited, I love learning. I love having my opinion changed. Oh, I feel different now.
YouTube facilitates communications between ISIS and people who watch their videos, thereby aiding ISIS in recruiting new members. The plaintiffs acknowledge that YouTube removed ISIS videos and suspended or blocked ISIS users at various times. However, the plaintiffs claim that YouTube should have been able to stop ISIS from re-establishing accounts using new identities. And the plaintiffs allege that Google left some of the ISIS videos up because they did not...
See, now that's difficult. Because if you do allow... The only way that YouTube could really... As far as I'm aware, the only ways YouTube could really stop them from uploading this type of content is one, through matching IP addresses and blocking those IP addresses, but that's something a VPN will get you around in quite literally under 10 minutes or 5 minutes. If you know what VPN service is good and what isn't, you could sign up for one and be on a different continent within 5 seconds. Or Google then has to implement face identification technology, and the world would lose its mind if it did that. How else are you going to block these people online? It's just, how do you do it? I personally don't know how else you could stop them.
Contain content violating the site's policies. At other times, Google removed the offending content, but did not suspend or ban the accounts. Now, we've talked about Section 230 of the CDA many times on this channel. Section 230 was created back in 1996 at the dawn of the internet. It has two key provisions. Section 230C1 says, quote, no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be treated as the publisher or speaker of any information provided by another information content provider. This sentence is often called the 26 words that created the internet. This section stipulates that providing access to third-party content does not make an online provider the publisher or speaker of that content. Now, the second major part of the law is Section 230C2, the so-called Good Samaritan provision, which states, quote, no provider or user of an interactive computer service shall be held liable on account of any action voluntarily taken in good faith to restrict access to or availability of material that the provider or user considers to be obscene, lewd, lascivious, filthy, excessively violent, harassing, or otherwise objectionable, whether or not such material is constitutionally protected. So this provision gives online platforms broad immunity from liability if they moderate content in good faith. This provision was meant to allow websites to...
I said it before, and I think that's where you could add it. This one specific rule right here, if you add on the provision that if a company does deem that content as safe and it turns out it isn't and does violate, the obscene, lewd, lascivious, how do you say that? Lascivious?
The excessively violent, harassment, restrict access to or availability of material that the provider or user considers to be obscene, lewd, lascivious.
Lascivious. I would argue that if it violates any, just add on, if the content platform marks this content as safe and it turns out it's not, and it does break one of these rules, then the content provider is liable. That's what I would do.
Excessively moderate content in good faith. This provision was meant to allow websites to police itself without incurring new liability, because it was an issue of knowledge. A website might not know what speech was hosted on that particular website, in which case they wouldn't be liable for it. But if they knew that illegal speech or defamatory speech or some other kind of speech was hosted there and then took steps to remove it from the website itself, then they actively had knowledge of that particular speech and thus might become liable for hosting it in the future. So websites found themselves on the horns of a dilemma until Section 230 of the CDA was passed to allow them to engage in good faith moderation. Because there was generally a knowledge requirement to be liable for things that were hosted on your website. If you had no knowledge of what kind of speech was on your website or platform, then you generally weren't liable for it. But the argument went that if you started to moderate your website, then that was evidence that you knew what was on there, and therefore you became liable for all the stuff that you were trying to remove from your website. This applied to spam, to pornography, to pirated media, to defamation, you name it. So the CDA was enacted in 1996.
So is that how pirate websites get away with staying up? By basically Section 230, was it dash B or C? That they are not liable for the content that is on their website because they are a content provider, and as long as they don't... Wait, so is it as long as they don't moderate their content, then... Oh, I need to hear that again because that's confusing.
Started to moderate your website, then that knowledge of what kind of speech was on your website or platform, then you generally weren't liable for it. But the argument went that if you started to moderate your website, then that was evidence that you knew what was on there, and therefore you became liable for all the stuff that you were trying to remove from your website. This applied to spam, to pornography, to pirated media, to defamation, you name it. So the CDA was enacted in 1996 when the internet was still in its infancy. At the time, companies like America Online, CompuServe, and Prodigy were the portals that allowed people to access the internet. People could share files, exchange messages, and chat with each other in real time. But that posed a dilemma. Who would be liable if a user posted something defamatory or shared something else that was illegal? Would liability go beyond the person that was responsible for the post? Or would the internet companies who hosted the content also be on the hook? And that brings us to the distinction between content publishers, distributors, and platforms, which is often completely misunderstood.
This is so much more in-depth than I was expecting, but I guess being that it's law and such a serious subject, I shouldn't be surprised.
In the pre-internet age, publishers, distributors, and platforms were treated differently under the law. Publishers were newspapers, magazines, and broadcast stations. They were generally liable for republishing material from third parties since they solicited the things that they published and they could vet those materials. Distributors were businesses like bookstores, newsstands, and libraries, which distributed material that was printed by others. And distributors were not required to assess every book that they sold. For example, in the 1950s, the Supreme Court overturned a Los Angeles ordinance that said, if you have obscene material in your bookstore, you can be held criminally responsible. And in that case, a bookstore owner was convicted of violating the ordinance by selling a novel called Sweeter Than Life, which tells the story of a, quote, ruthless lesbian businesswoman. The Supreme Court said that the bookstore couldn't be responsible for reviewing every single thing in the book or magazine that it sells. And distributors only had liability if someone notified them that something they carried was illegal. That's sort of the origin of the knowledge requirement. And platforms were common carriers like phone companies and television broadcasters. Platforms weren't liable for third-party content that they carried. So, for example, let's say AT&T found out that someone's answering machine had a libelous outgoing message. Was AT&T required to act by canceling the owner's telephone service? Well, the court said no, AT&T couldn't be sued for libel simply because the owner used its service to say something libelous. And similarly, a broadcaster...
Oh, that's interesting. Should that business be held liable if that business is a subscription service, though? Because then surely if you're paying to upkeep that service, then that service should be aware of what content is on it. I think that should be part of the subscription for sure. Interesting.
Wasn't liable for running a political candidate that falsely accused someone of being a communist. But then the internet came around, and the internet era posed a new challenge for this case law. Two of the first internet service providers, CompuServe and Prodigy, were sued for hosting forums where users posted defamatory content. Now, Prodigy billed itself as a family-friendly version of the internet.
Did you get a computer recently? Well, congratulations.
Oh boy.
You can now join hundreds of thousands who discovered Prodigy.
It moderated comments, removing things it thought were bad. Now, CompuServe didn't moderate anything.
CompuServe combines the power of your computer with the convenience of your telephone.
And both of those companies were sued for defamatory statements that their users posted to the service.
That is
now, the
wild.
case against CompuServe was dismissed because the court considered it a distributor of content rather than a publisher. CompuServe could only be held liable for defamation if it knew or had reason to know of the defamatory nature of the content. And since they didn't do anything to moderate their forums, the company couldn't possibly know, or at least argued it couldn't possibly know, about what the denizens of Rumorville were posting about each other.
That is absolutely wild. The reason that they got away with it is because they didn't moderate it. So the other, I'm guessing what he's about to say is that the other company, the suit was successful, but that's crazy because that means that that is an incentivization for people not to bother, right? Like, surely if you're going to be punished for moderating your own content, that's crazy. Which I then guess leads back to me earlier saying that if YouTube moderates the content, has a report, and then deems that content safe, if they deem content safe that isn't actually safe, but then I'm also saying that you shouldn't be sued for trying to moderate your content, god damn, this is full of loopholes and this is difficult, man.
But Prodigy was found liable for failing to moderate enough. Someone went on a forum and claimed that Jordan Belfort's investment firm, Stratton Oakmont, committed fraud in connection with a stock IPO. The firm sued Prodigy and the anonymous poster for defamation, and a court held that Prodigy was liable as the publisher of the content created by its users, since it exercised editorial control over the messages on its bulletin board. Now, if the names Jordan Belfort and Stratton Oakmont ring a bell, that's because they were literally scamming people out of millions of dollars and have gone down as some of the biggest fraudsters in all of Wall Street history.
We were just talking about, dude, we were literally just talking about this movie 20 minutes ago.
Wall Street is based on the fraud that they were perpetrating with respect to the IPOs. And it's one of the biggest ironies in all of First Amendment law that they won this lawsuit against the people that were hosting presumably accurate information about how they were scamming people out of money. That's part of the problem when websites are liable for user content, is that people can file lawsuits to stifle speech. That's what a slap lawsuit is all about. And because lawsuits are incredibly expensive, sometimes...
How do you win a lawsuit against a company that... But I just need to recap that. So someone said this company's a scam. Scam company sues them. There's no proof they're a scam. So they win the lawsuit, but they actually were a scam? That's so crazy.
Even if you scammed people out of money, as long as you file a lawsuit, you can stifle that kind of speech. But I digress. As a result of these cases, internet service providers basically either decided to not moderate at all and leave absolutely everything up, or basically moderate everything and not allow anything to go up. And basically no one was happy with this state of affairs, so Congress enacted the Communications Decency Act. And then, as now, lawmakers claim to be especially worried about things like harassment and obscene material. So they gave online providers...
It's almost like this kind of stuff should be taught in school. It's almost like you should teach children the law. It's almost like when you turn 18 and you're thrown out into the world with absolutely no understanding of the law because there's no class in primary school or high school that teaches you the basics of the law and it's left up to your parents. It's almost like there should be a class on this, huh?
Immunity from lawsuits if they moderated content. And again, the irony here is that this legislation came from the sort of family values type politicians, the people who always want to think about the children.
Oh, won't somebody please think of the children?
They wanted to allow websites to remove violent and sexual conduct so that the internet could be even cleaner. The same politicians who wanted and got the little parental advisory explicit content warnings put on rap albums. But I digress again. Section 230 was intended as a way for internet companies to create and enforce basic standards to run their websites. And when the CompuServe and Prodigy cases were decided, the courts only considered whether the ISPs were publishers or distributors. But an internet service like a website didn't fit neatly into those categories. A traditional publisher has total control over whether to publish content. A distributor can control what it buys, but it wouldn't have been practical for a human to fully screen every item. Modern social media companies host more material than any library or bookstore on Earth, which makes screening all of that info daunting, if not impossible. And without Section 230, social media companies would be subject to strict liability for every message and post made on their services. So Congress chose to give those platforms and websites immunity as an incentive to get them to remove offending speech.
I mean, it is difficult, right? It is difficult because what happens when your government enacts a law that limits a certain type of speech, and then that company then has to retroactively also police that content as well? There is this really weird conversation of, is it better to have unlimited free speech online or not have unlimited free speech online? The only other alternative I can think of, and I'm pro this, I'm very much pro this. I think to a certain extent, you should have to use your real name on major websites so that stuff can be tracked back to you. It'd be as simple as, you know, you use your national insurance number in order to sign up to a website. That simple. Or you're given a national ID card and you have to use that ID card to sign up for websites, and it links your government account with your blah blah. I do think there should be, like I said in the beginning of this, my opinion's changing as this goes on, but I do think that there should be spaces where you have to use your real name and your real ID. I would argue that any place with over a certain amount of people on it, say 100 million, you should have to use your real name there. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, these are platforms that have in excess of 100 million users per year. Maybe up that number, because I don't, for example, you wouldn't want people on Linus Tech Tips to have to use their real name. You wouldn't want people on, I feel like Reddit should be an exception to that rule, because there has to be places where people are given unlimited free speech, because the alternative of that is dangerous in many, many ways. But at the very least, if you had to use a government ID card in order to sign up for websites that have the ability to reach millions of people, like if any genius or moron can sign up to Twitter, put out the most hateful shit that they've ever thought of, or the most intelligent shit they've ever thought of, and it has the ability to reach hundreds of millions of people. The ability to do that anonymously is dangerous. You could on YouTube, obviously, back in 2015, with people sending out ISIS videos, with morons on Twitter that are not medical professionals that are talking about COVID and vaccines. You need to make sure that these people use their real name. Now, I understand that if you look at Twitter, people are using their real names and are spreading misinformation. It doesn't stop it, but at the very least, it somewhat, to a small degree, can maybe hold these people accountable, man. How many times have we seen people held accountable for what they've done on Twitter? Like someone, I don't know, saying they don't want anyone from the LGBT community in their bakery, but because it's their real bakery name and their real name there, you can hold them accountable. Being able to put that kind of stuff out there anonymously is so dangerous. Also, how come the Bannisters here are not cut out, and that the whole background is look, this isn't the background and the building don't match. It's driving me nuts. I see so many major content creators that don't understand basic copyright principles. It definitely needs to be a class in school. Yeah, I mean, hands up right now. I don't understand basic copyright principles. I maybe it's super basic, but yeah, I do think copyright needs to be copyright laws need to be completely rewritten with an understanding that what I would probably do for content is if your content makes over a certain amount of money, you are no longer able to take, like, people are able to watch that content publicly without incurring a penalty or anything. So if your movie, let's say for example, how would I do it? Well, that's difficult. I said, you know what? It's a difficult topic. I take back what I just said. I've not put enough thought into it to give what I would do in that situation. I'd love to see a video on that though. As someone who answers Twitter, Reddit, Facebook questions from angry users, I like my pseudonym, but I agree with you for the most part. I mean, yeah, that is the downside, right? That there are crazy people out there or angry people, and them knowing your name, I mean, knowing someone's real name allows you to track them down in less than 10 minutes. If you know what you're doing, it's not difficult. It's really not. And that's dangerous because nutters will take a minute to learn how to do that and then do that. And, that's a level of fear that people shouldn't have to live with, for sure. Those folks that complain that the radio in Grand Theft Auto gets their VOD muted, like, technically it's against a lot of stream games in general, but most devs are cool with it. Yes, that's true. I remember reading that a while back. It is technically illegal to stream games, but there is a mutual benefit there. It almost acts as advertising because you're going to get more people that, those people that are watching you play that game weren't going to buy that game anyway. So yeah, there is that yeah. I mean, like I say, personally, I think that copyright needs to be rewritten with a better understanding for what people do and don't do with content online. If I was to put it in short form off the top of my head, I'd probably do something like, I'd make it legal to play video games on YouTube and Twitch so that people don't have to worry about having their content taken down. I would not make it legal to stream movies online, but I would make it legal to stream all reality television. I'd maybe make it legal to stream TV shows to a certain extent, but with a host. That being the key thing, you must have a host for these things. Otherwise, you are just restreaming that content. There must be some level of commentary. Doesn't have to be much. That's what I would say. Because I don't think that politicians have a good... We'll get back to this topic in a second, but I don't think a lot of politicians have a very good understanding of the lack of socialization that people get these days, with most people being online. A lot of people don't have the time or live too far away from their friends or whatever, and aren't able to get their mates over at the weekend and watch a show with them. So what do? They watch a show with their streamer, or watch a show with their YouTuber. But you can't really do that right now, and that really sucks, because some people just don't have friends, some people just don't have time, some people just don't have money, and there's no understanding of that from a law point of view. The law is so obsessed with protecting companies that it doesn't think about what it takes away from people. Hey Leon, how's it going, dude? Thank you very much for 30 months of being super. Thank you. How's it going, man? All falls under fair use. You're allowed to restream pretty much everything, but it has to clearly be parody or pastiche, and that's where the grey area is. I mean, the main problem with saying fair use and has to be parody and pastiche, which I don't know the meaning of pastiche. The main problem with it having to be parody or transformative in some way is that it's so is that the main thing is it's a gray area to the extent that if someone tried to take down your content, you would have to go to court and argue it, and people really don't have the money to do that. Pastiche means commentary / review. Ah, gotcha. It needs to be better defined, and I think we're reaching the point where copyright is not useful in certain fields and is a hindrance in certain fields. I'm not saying that if I made a movie, everyone should be able to watch it and talk for 5 minutes over the entirety of it. That obviously wouldn't be fair to the movie maker, but there has to be some kind of middle ground. Some kind of middle ground, you know, like if there was even some kind of system where, let's say that I wanted to watch the new Tetris movie on stream with everyone, what if I could give Warner Brothers or Apple 5% of my revenue that month in order to watch that with my audience? Just some kind of way to make it possible for people to you know, watch. Something like that. The watch party on Amazon is quite a good idea. Shame there's crap all shows on Amazon these days. Watch party is good, but it does leave out a lot of people that don't have Amazon Prime. And I do not blame people for not wanting to get Amazon Prime these days when, I mean, look at Amazon and what they're doing to the planet and how they treat people that work at their company. It's gross. Right, let's continue.
Congress also chose not to dictate to those companies which speech they had to remove. So that brings us back to the original question in this case. How should courts read Section 230? The lower courts follow the test set forth in the Ninth Circuit case called Barnes versus Young.
I'm just going to quickly say, if this is the question, it means that what you've written is not accurate enough and needs to be rewritten. It's that simple. It really is that simple. If you have to ask, how do you read something? You've not written it properly, dude.
Section 230. The lower courts follow the test set forth in the Ninth Circuit case called Barnes versus Yahoo, and the Barnes test hews close to the text of Section 230. The law specifies that only 1, no interactive computer service, shall be 2, treated as a publisher or speaker, of 3, content provided by another information content provider, aka users. Now, the plaintiffs argue their claims do not treat Google as a publisher, but instead assert a simple duty not to support terrorists. They said that the ATA prohibits Walmart from supplying fertilizer, knives, or other material to ISIS, and in the same way, the ATA bars Google from giving ISIS a...
That's not true at all. That's just not true, dude. The ATA prohibits a retailer like Walmart from supplying fertilizer, knives, or even food to ISIS. Sure, but they don't permit an individual who doesn't have an ISIS badge on him from walking in and buying fertilizer, knives, or even food to ISIS. They're acting... It's really weird that they're acting as if a terrorist organization should be treated in the exact same way as a legitimate company. That's really bizarre to me.
Platform to communicate.
Like the part that I'm not talking about here is obviously the hurt that the people that the Gonzalez family is going through. They want someone to suffer, and they want to, if they're not looking for someone to suffer, they clearly want to make sure that this kind of thing cannot happen again. I wholeheartedly agree with that side of things. I do, however, think that pointing the finger to get someone to pay a financial amount of money isn't going to do anything, and getting them to just block that kind of content or regulate the type of content that is uploaded is wholly a net negative for humanity. I truly believe that. This is a difficult thing to hear, but there are net positives and net negatives to humanity. I'm not going to stand here and list out what I think is a net positive and what is a net negative, but I can tell you that what's the word I'm looking for? Policing all content before it's even uploaded to a platform in order to weed out just a couple of people, or is going to do, it's going to be a net negative, I believe. I don't think that's the way that you stop this kind of thing. I really don't. I think the way that you stop this kind of thing is through education. You stop this kind of thing If it's not through education, then you need to stop it through some kind of identification system. If not through an identification system, then you need to make sure that content on your platform is not recommended unless the user is verified. It would make growing on a platform like YouTube without a recommendation system near enough impossible. But those are the options. Policing everything is like, I wish that we could do that. I wish that Google had the ability to manually review every single video that was uploaded. It would stop a lot of hate. Like, as someone who's been the target of a lot of hate throughout his life, I'm very aware that people will be learning some of this hatred or getting some of these ultra right-wing views or whatever type of views it is they're getting. They'll be getting that from watching YouTube videos or watching certain TikToks or reading stuff on Facebook or Twitter. I'm aware of that. But you take away so much from humanity when you limit everyone for the actions of a few. That's just the way it works, and it sucks. It's one of the worst things about being human. In my opinion, it's one of the worst things. You know, you are only as fast. How do I put it? Your team is only as fast as the slowest player. But if you limit everyone to only running as fast as the slowest player, things start to get real bad. I don't know what better way of putting it. It's difficult for me to figure out how to articulate this properly and come across the right way because it is such a difficult subject. It's a really, really difficult subject to talk about. It's a difficult subject to even think about. And, you know, all of this is just my opinion. And I don't know what the solution is. For sure, I don't know what the solution is. The only thing I know is that policing everything is just such a bad idea, man. Oh, it's such a bad idea. Especially because it's going to push people to other websites. And those websites are going to become... 4chan. It's going to... You know... It's years and years ago, I heard, I don't know if this is true, but years and years ago, I heard someone say, it's important not to silence racists because when you completely silence them, all they do is only talk to other racists. There's no one there to combat the thing that they're saying because you silence them from talking to people that don't hold the same views as them. And that's a really difficult thing to process, that you have to let someone spew hatred. Because if you don't, they're never going to get someone that says the opposite of that. You're never going to get to understand why someone is the way that they are. You know, it's really easy to go, you bad, shut up. It's really difficult to go, I think you're bad, but why are you like this? Why do you think the things that you do? What information is it you've gotten? Who are you learning this from? What are the people around you like? You know, are you okay? What is happening in your... It's really difficult to do that, especially when someone is hateful. You know, your instant reaction is to flip. And that's what's... I think that something like this, policing all content... Then, you know, but then the argument is, well, are you saying that you should be able to upload that type of content to YouTube? No, I'm not. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that if you police everyone, then these people are just going to go to their own little place anyway. Just do a better job of policing. That's really all you got to do. Police the content that's already there. React to reports faster. Don't... Oh, God. Isn't it difficult, man, to even figure out how to... God, it's difficult, isn't it? ID everyone. ID everyone. ID them. ID them. Track them down. That's what I would do. Like it takes Twitch weeks to manually review new affiliate emotes. Imagine Google manually reviewing all of YouTube. Be a nightmare. Racist echo chambers are not good. Exactly. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. I'm really not doing a good job of explaining. I don't think I am anyway, because I don't have an answer. So I'm saying one thing, then I think I'm saying something else. It's contradictory to the previous thing that I said, but it's because there are so many levels to this. I don't have an end point answer. I only know this and I know that, or I think this and think that.
The Ninth Circuit found this analogy specious. The idea of a duty not to support terrorists, quote, overlooks that publication itself is the form of support Google allegedly provided to ISIS, and publication of third-party content is what Section 230 gives to internet services. According to lower courts, publishing encompasses, quote, any activity that can be boiled down to deciding whether to exclude material that third parties seek to post online. Google says that the CDA uses the words publisher or speaker in an ordinary sense. Quote, based on an ordinary meaning, a publisher or speaker is one that publishes or speaks. Google contends that when YouTube's algorithms make recommendations, this activity is protected by Section 230. Quote, Congress underscored that publishing for purposes of Section 230 includes sorting content via algorithms by defining interactive computer service to include tools that pick, choose, filter, search, subset, organize, or reorganize content. Congress intended to provide protection for these functions, not for simply hosting third-party content. And the plaintiffs disagree. Their interpretation of the Section 230C defense is that it requires a narrower interpretation of the word publisher. The Ninth Circuit previously held that Section 230C1 uses publisher in its everyday sense, and the Second Circuit agreed. But the plaintiffs contend that the word publisher is used in Section 230C1 with a narrower and distinct meaning, which that term has in defamation law. Basically, the plaintiffs are claiming that any time YouTube recommends another video, it therefore becomes the speaker of that video, as if YouTube had produced that video itself. Now, defendants say that this interpretation doesn't make sense. Quote, watch the World Series of Poker on YouTube, and YouTube's algorithms might display Texas Hold'em tutorials. That does not mean that YouTube endorses gambling any more than spellcheck endorses a suggested substitute word. Westlaw endorses higher listed cases, or a chat room endorses posts organized by topic. As the Ninth Circuit noted, YouTube applies the same algorithms to all content.
That is a really, that's a perfect argument. That's really good. It's like a really boring game of D&D.
And it's here that I think people often misunderstand the nature of the internet and the nature of social media. With the case of YouTube, people upload millions of videos a day. Mm-hmm. If there wasn't an algorithm to sort through this deluge of videos, the only way to sort through them would be a fire hose of viewing every video chronologically, which nobody wants. It would be that or doing a pointed search to try and find content, but then you'd never be exposed to content that you actually do want to watch but didn't know that you wanted to seek it out. And the plaintiffs have tried to differentiate between search results and other algorithmically generated results, but there's really no principled way to distinguish.
I'll catch you later, Crolio. Have a good rest of your day. Good luck with the client. I see Section 201 and roll 9 to defeat Google. Okay, dude.
Distinguish between results, other algorithmically generated results, but there's really no principled way to distinguish between results that are sorted when you actively search for something versus results that are presented to you because of a recommendation algorithm. And people love to hate algorithms, myself included. But the truth is, if there weren't algorithms to help us sort through all of the content on social media platforms, it would be impossible to wade through it. And then additionally, there's the issue of the material support related for a claim under the Anti-Terrorism Act. Now, the Department of Justice's brief in support of the plaintiffs argues that algorithmic recommendations convey the website's own implicit message that users will find the information relevant, and that makes the website liable because it's acting just like ISIS itself. Now, plaintiffs didn't claim this in their original complaint. Instead, they focused on how YouTube's recommendations amplified the ISIS speech, making it more visible to more users. But the US government urged the Supreme Court to adopt a narrow reading of Section 230 that would permit a finding that Google materially contributed to the content by matching it to user preferences. Again, basically, the Department of Justice, as well as the plaintiffs, are arguing for a standard that if any website promotes content, uses an algorithm, or recommends content to users, that website then becomes liable for all of the speech contained within that recommendation.
But would that mean, but wouldn't that also apply to like every other type of business in the world? So if I went into Home Depot and I asked for a recommendation on a chainsaw and they recommended a chainsaw for me, but it was a really poorly reviewed one, the chain snapped off the the chainsaw and sliced my arm up, would that mean that Home Depot is responsible for that because their staff member recommended that chainsaw to me, knowing that the product line had a fault? And what if they didn't know that the product line of chainsaws had a fault in it? Like, YouTube doesn't know that that content is bad, but the algorithm recommended that content. See what I'm saying? Like, where does the level of responsibility end? Now, I want to be, one thing that's frustrating me in everything that I'm saying is that it feels like I'm sticking up for a multi-billion-dollar company. And that's not what I'm trying to do. What I'm trying to do is articulate the difficulty in policing content, because when you start implementing harsher rules on it, you limit what can be made and what will be made. I don't know. Remember when the internet was young and would still spread content via word of mouth? Algorithms handle that these days. Yeah, I mean, I word of mouth is not a good way of spreading. Don't get me wrong. I don't think algorithms are very good at recommending content either. If I go to my YouTube homepage, it's garbage. I've actually been really frustrated with YouTube recently because I keep being recommended the same stuff over and over and over and over. And then I'm being recommended stuff that's a year to 2 years old as well. Like, this stuff is all within the last 12 days. That's 12 days old. That's 10 months. Like a lot 5 years ago, 13 hours, 4 months. Like, a lot of it is useless right now. So I can't even imagine how bad it would get if they started policing the platform more.
What happens when websites are liable? Well, remember I mentioned that this has actually happened before? Well, it has. In 2018, then President Trump signed into law 2 bills making it easier to fight sex trafficking online. That was the Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act and the Stop Enabling Sex Traffickers Act, otherwise known as FOSTA and SESTA. And those 2 laws created an exception to Section 230's safe harbor rule by stating that websites could be held legally responsible if third parties posted ads for prostitution on their platforms. The law penalizes websites which, quote, promote...
That's fair. If you're putting ads on a website, yeah, that's fair because you're being paid to do that. That is completely different, though, and that's totally fair. YouTube is not being paid to put content on their platform. They make money from the ads that play on that content, which is different. I hate it when it forgets completely about creators that only upload once a month. I miss so many Caddy Karis videos. I've never heard of that person or team or group. But yeah, I've got the same issue. I've missed a few videos from people that upload once a week or once a month because YouTube's algorithm is terrible, and then my subscription feed is a nightmare.
Facilitate prostitution. And while
even though I've got notifications turned on for them, I still never get them.
This includes sites that promote illegal sex work. It also allows the police to investigate any site that is knowingly assisting, facilitating, or supporting sex trafficking. This language can be read to include sites with content that is legal, such as escort services, personal ads, and pornography. Now, critics of FOSTA and SESTA warned that the new laws were too broad and they would end up killing internet content that has nothing to do with sex trafficking. And they turned out to be correct. If a third party posts content that is covered by FOSTA or SESTA, and the website fails to prevent that content from being posted, that website can be sued. And that was simply too much legal risk for several websites.
But what is the definition of failed? Is that immediately, within an hour, a week, a month, within a certain amount of time after receiving a report? That seems kind of vague.
Craigslist shut down its entire personal section. Tumblr banned all adult content, and Reddit removed several subreddits, and other websites just simply shut down entirely. So you might ask, did any of this assist with the prosecution of sex trafficking? Well, in 2021, the US Government Accountability Office released a report on the first 3 years of FOSTA and SESTA, finding that, quote, over 3 years, the Department of Justice filed just 1 case under its rules against promoting or recklessly disregarding sex trafficking. So ironically, this provided essentially the perfect natural experiment to find out what happens when websites are liable for the speech content of its users.
This is what happens when you get people that are out of touch with the technology that they're making rules for. This is, the equivalent of this is, remember when you were a kid and your mum or your dad or your guardian or someone would walk into the room and they'd go, pause the game. turn it off. And you'd go, but I need to save. Or I can't pause this game, I need 5 minutes. And they would just go, no, and turn your shit off. That's what's happening with these people, because the parents didn't understand the game. These people don't understand the internet. It's the same thing, man. Putting laws or rules in place for things they don't get.
Two things will happen. Either the website shuts down that section or shuts down the entire department, or the website employs an army of moderators to remove anything even remotely offensive. You basically either live in a world where a website allows everything, scams, spam, pornography, ultra-violence, just everything that you can possibly imagine and you probably don't want to see in your everyday life. Or you live in a world where they employ extremely expensive moderators who prevent anything that might possibly be offensive. And that of course assumes that a website can even afford to employ those moderators. So there are those who want to see Section 230 modified or scrapped altogether, and have argued that these online services are acting like content developers. Now, oral argument in front of the Supreme Court is next week, and I'm putting my money where my mouth is on this one. I filed a brief in the Supreme Court along with Dr. Mike, Mythical Entertainment, Chubby Emu, Tim Schmoyer, and the Authors Alliance, and a bunch of other creators. We filed an amicus brief explaining the potential dire consequences of a really bad ruling on this, so we'll see how it goes.
Cool, man. That was what a topic. What do I think now at the end? I can really only reiterate on what I said. I believe that policing everything is going to make the internet a nightmare. His statement that this could destroy the internet next week is not any type of exaggeration whatsoever. When you hold a company accountable for the content that's on it, you really, really put them in a difficult place. And while I don't care about the company, I care about what that company hosts or is making available to me. How do you deal with the fact that you do have just... What do you even call these people that did the stuff in 2015? I don't think there's a word in the English language to describe how low and disgusting and how much they lack humanity. I don't think there's a word to describe them. But how do you allow everyone to get access to anything while stopping things that break your policy? I don't know, man. I think that an ID system could work, but if the country that the person's from doesn't care about that content, then it makes no difference because that country is going to allow that type of content. Do you limit people to only... Maybe you do what Netflix does. You only get content in your country from people in your country. And then maybe you have to be maybe that's what you do. That wouldn't be a terrible idea. What if you limit people to only being able to watch content from creators in their own country? But if content creators are verified, their content can appear in any country. And then you add an ID system on top of that. So if you are uploading content online, you have to use your real name, and your content's only going to reach people in your country. And then you can be held accountable for the things that you say online within your own country, and no one outside of it can see that content unless you are verified. At which point, you should have someone reviewing all of your videos because they're verified videos. Maybe you could do that. How do you stop these terrible people from getting this hateful shit out there, man? It's so difficult, and I will not be the person to figure this out, dude. That's not what my job is. I wish that I could. I get so frustrated with stuff like this because all I want to do is help. All I want to do is make the world a better place. And there's some little part of me that thinks that talking about it helps, but ultimately it probably does the equivalent of fuck all. What a great video, man. That video was by Legal Eagle. The Supreme Court could destroy the internet next week. Go give it a like. Go subscribe. Why am I not subscribed? I was subscribed to him. Now I'm subscribed again. If you're watching this in the future, like this video, assuming that I upload it on YouTube and I don't go, maybe leave this one off. And again, if you're watching in the future, then stay super. I'm going back to the studio. Okay. I don't think non-verified content creators should be banned outright outside of the country. Maybe something that allows creators to upload different censored versions of videos if it flags as riskish. But then you're still leaving the company that uploaded that content to moderate everything for every country. I think that's really difficult. And how would an algorithm be able to detect everything? That's assuming that people can't get around it. And that's assuming that the algorithm can accurately detect different languages as well. I don't know. I think we're still, clearly we're still years away from being able to make algorithms or implement, AIs like ChatGPT that can jump in and, that can jump in and moderate that content to a more human relative level. I think maybe a few years from now we'll be able to have it automated, but I'd probably do something like that in the meantime. I don't know, dude. Well, I learned one thing today. I'm not going to watch serious videos like that again while I enjoy the conversation if I don't have the ability to properly articulate the things or the way that I feel. People might read it the wrong way and try and accuse me of some shit, and I don't want it to happen. There was a case a while back where an anime reviewer got their channel nuked by Toho. I think YouTube eventually geographically banned them just in Japan. That's good. That's smart. That's smart. You should, as a content creator, you should be able to choose where your stuff is uploaded as well. I don't see why you shouldn't be able to. Or why not? Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna tackle something as I think the problem with me watching videos like that is I have a lot of opinions on everything. And the problem with that is that people like to interpret what you're saying in the way that they want to hear it, not in the way that you're saying it. So I think for more fringe stuff like that, I'm gonna make sure I stay away from it. I just don't believe that I don't believe that the vast majority of people have the ability to understand nuance. Next week on Blue, my opinions on crisps. Dude, McCoy's are where it's at. McCoy's Thai crisps are 10 out of 10. Oh yeah, the prawn are okay too, but the Thai are the best ones. Anyway, right, I'm gonna boost off for now. I will be back on Friday. Should be. I don't think I've got anything coming up on Friday, to the best of my knowledge. I should be back on Friday, 2 p.m. UK time. What are we going to be doing? Probably going to watch some more videos. Might do another run of Marauders on the day. I don't know. I feel like I need to do something a little bit different on Friday. So we'll see what I come up with. Most likely, nothing. I don't know. But anywho, appreciate you. Thank you to everyone for being around today. And as always, stay super, Blootropolis.